It's Skyrim. It's my favorite day of the week. Skyrim. Hello, everybody. Let me do. Oh fuck! Not my tits. No. Ah. All right. Hi. Hello, everybody. Welcome to my favorite day of the week. Skyrim. Oh, I forgot to turn. Oh. Thank you. Thank you for the 100 biddies, Ryan. I appreciate you. Time for nonsense and fantasy booba. You are damn right, my good bitch. Damn right. So, I remember, you know how I said at the beginning of the year, I was finally, I was like, yeah, we're gonna use Skyrim today, and I'm gonna like be super organized and tell you about my plans for the week, and it's gonna be like our big huddle up. And then I forgot to do that like 8 times. Well, good news. Guess who? Guess who finally remembered to make her schedule? So let me see. Hold on. Because right now, mic off. No, hold on. For some reason, my mouth is like so small, and I don't know why. I think I have to like. I'm still fucking around with my new settings. Here, let me do this real quick, because I think I know how to fix it. Mouth tall. Remember, I forget to say that. But welcome, everybody. I am so glad you are here. Thank you for being here. I know it's a big day. It's Superb Owl Day. I hope all your owls are doing a real good job. I know there's like, I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, I'm not trying to say this in like a, I'm so cool and like chronically online. I don't know anything about this. I don't know shit. I don't know shit about the Super Bowl. I do not. I do not know what's going on. I don't even know, like, who is it? It's like, I don't even know, like, don't be mad at me. Don't be mad at me, okay? But like, all I know about the Super Bowl, literally all I know about the Super Bowl is like Taylor Swift is there, I think, and she made it there from Japan, and it's like, I don't even like particularly like Taylor Swift, that's just all I know. And it's like, Taylor Swift is gonna be here, wow, okay, good for her. I don't know what's going on. I genuinely don't. I hear people talking about shit, and I just like, I don't know. When I'm not doing VTuber shit, I try to be kind of like disconnected from social media, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? I try to, okay, I think I found the thing I'm supposed to fix. Because basically when you have a VTuber model, there's like parameters, and if they're only so like tall, what can happen is it like cucks you. I don't know, like there's probably a better way to explain that. But if it's too like, if the numbers are too small, it won't let you do things, you know? And it'll cuck you. But I think I think I fixed it. But who cares about Super Bowl when Evie can play Skyrim balls and booba? Hell yeah! Oh, okay, right. We got distracted by Superb Owls. But, okay, remember I said I was gonna do the thing, and then I didn't. Hold on, what? Why is it? What? Why did it stop me? Okay, anyway, we're good. Okay, but I have, I did it. Look. Look, wait for it. Aha! Oh, wait, shit. Aha! Okay, so, this week in EB Games! Hello! Okay, I finally remembered to do my fucking schedule before Sunday. So, what's on the docket for this week? We aren't getting back to community events this week just because I've had a lot of work to do with Offkai Expo. They haven't announced me being a guest yet, but y'all already know. I direct the choir there. I'ma be there. So I've had a lot of behind the scenes work for that, as well as some other commissions and projects I'm in. But we are going to do Wednesday. We played Shipwreck 64, which was a really cool ARG. I don't usually like to be like, go watch my VOD, because I don't want to be annoying. But like, go watch my VOD. It's on YouTube. But me and a bunch of my friends played through not all of it, but played through Shipwreck 64, which is really cool ARG, and we've been working on figuring some stuff out, and we're gonna be continuing that on Wednesday. But if you want to know like what's up with that, it was crazy. There was like web pages and shit. It was kind of fucking nutty. I literally went through the 5-hour VOD. Yeah, usually my streams are like 2 to 3 hours max, because I'm a sleepy, eepy little guy. This was a 5-hour stream. Like, the game was so good, I ordered Taco Bell in the middle of it and was like, fuck, we keep going. Friday, we'll be finally getting back to Cyberpunk, and then we'll have Skyrim Sunday again. Yippee! So, that is what we're gonna be doing. But, without further ado, let's get into the Skyrim. Let's get into Sunday. And I'm gonna double check background music off. Turn it off now. Turn it off over here. Okay, turn on desktop audio. And I watched Orange, I appreciate you so much. I was honestly not sure if people would like the Shipwreck streams, honestly, because I know I don't really do like horror type stuff. It's not really my venue, but I'm glad you guys enjoyed it, because I'll be honest, I had so much fun streaming it with my friends. So we will have more EB Games friend content coming soon, because we all had a ton of fun with it, you know. Let me see. Let's see. Okay. It should show game now. Let's see. And there should be audio. Let's see. There we go. Okay. And there's no background music. Right. Why is my mouse doing that? It's like drift. Okay. Why is it moving like that? Hello? Mouse? God damn it. I can't have shit. Okay, there we go. I think it was just... what? Did you see this? Mouse? There we go. Oh, is it because it wants to use my Xbox controller? Probably. That's probably it. It wants me to use my Xbox, but I don't want an Xbox. I'm a PC gamer. PC master race. Wah. I feel like people were like, can I say something controversial? Yeah, Brave. Wait, what? Yeah, PC. Okay, there we go. I guess that's right. Oh, it's lagging. Okay, there we go. So, few things. I did install some new mods while we were away. Okay, there were 3 big installed mods I have. One is Hemomancy. So if you've been following this playthrough, you know that Vanya's whole shtick is she's a blood mage. And I had some people say, Evie, why not just become a vampire? No, that's not the point of her story. The whole bit of her story is she's investigating dark magic, and she's trying to figure it out on her own. By not, like, she specifically does not become a vampire. She's learning how to do it herself through some really fucked up and morally questionable things. Because we love an anti-hero, right? So we installed Hemomancy, which allows for more blood magic themed spells. But they're going to be a little bit more, I guess, dramatic. They're gonna be a little bit wackier than what we're used to with the current blood magic spells we have. The other thing we're gonna be doing is we are going to be having the Sejblad Castle. Thank you, Morgan, for the recommendation. One of the things we really need to do with Legacy of she's a dark magician girl. Yeah, kind of. Yeah. We have Sejblad Castle. Thank you, Morgan, for the recommendation. This is a new castle, new house mod that I want to check out. Because also we need to collect a lot of raw materials for Legacy of the Dragonborn. And apparently here you can hire people to do it for you. So I might honestly take advantage of that while we're adventuring, right? The other thing we have that is kind of like really minor is Bandolier. I finally bought Bandolier. How long have you been using Sejblad Castle? Okay. Just installed. It's not slavery. I'm paying them. I am paying them. I'm not a bad person. 500 bonus loyalty coins added for new mod user. Thanks, bestie. As a Sejblad Castle version 1.44a, users of this mod will begin to generate 1 loyalty coin per hour of gameplay. Oh, okay. Current mod users will receive a prorated amount of coins for their highly appreciated loyalty and support. Okay. For real though, I don't like jokes like that. I'm edgy, but I'm not offensive. In the next update, V1.45, loyalty coins can be used to purchase various castle upgrades, features, mounts, creatures, companions, and weapons and armor. Okay, cool. Let's see. So, let's go. I literally just got here and I got... Stop shooting me! Okay, hold on. What? Stop! I literally just pulled up. Stop. I just pulled up and they're shooting me. So you might be wondering,
Or maybe you're
Evie, where are we? So here's the problem. We are in Worm's Tooth right now, okay? And what we've been trying to do is find our way into the Dragon's Den for Worm's Tooth, right? Now, the thing is with Worm's Tooth, we got lost a lot. And I'm not sure entirely what happened. But it says, oh shit, I accidentally lost my virginity. Not again. Basically what happened is, it says go there to find a way into the Dragon's Den through the barrow. But that's literally where we came from. So I have no fucking idea where the Dragon's Den is. I think, we got lost somewhere along the way or something with the quest broke. But Worm's Tooth is basically a really big mod. We're on a whole ass other island. This is all added by one mod, which is really cool, but I don't know where to go. is the big problem right now. I don't have any fucking idea where the fuck I'm going. I don't know. So we're gonna need to figure that out. And a walkthrough that I looked at said that I need to go to the sun. And I don't know. It was apparently supposed to be a big, bright, like, yellow thing. And that's where we're supposed to go, according to a walkthrough that I found. But, like, if we look at it, like, with, like, because I'm pretty sure we have clairvoyance. I'm, like, 90% sure. Yeah. Basically, I believe it tells us to just go to the same spot. So, I don't know. What I think I'm going to do just in case is I'm going to just make sure everything else is ticked off just in case. There we go. Yeah, and then we'll see through the dragon and through the bear. Does it still say the same spot? Yeah, so I don't know what's going on there. That's the middle of the continent? Yeah. So, I don't know where the fucking Dragon's Den is. But we are in Dimfrost right now, which is a whole other place. So I don't know what's happening. I want to go to the Dragon's Den, but the game doesn't want me to. So I think what I'm wondering is, does it want us to go like, because the thing is I think we're underground right now. So what I think it might be saying by that, low key, is that it's like under. You know what I mean? Probably not, but that's okay. So I'm going to see where clairvoyance takes me. It could still be a bug with the mod and it just doesn't know where to go, because the place it had been telling me to go before is the elevator, and the elevator takes us away. So I'm not sure. I think we're just kind of going to go up, I guess. Well, let's actually see. Does this... It looks like... Is it going to lead me into the elevator? Yeah. See, that's... not what we need. Also, look at all the friends we have here. We have so many friends. We have a lot of Skelly boys, and we also have quite a lot of followers now as well. The guide says just follow the road. That's the thing, is we followed the road, and it didn't lead us anywhere. So I guess it might mean follow the road down here, because we do have a clear road over here. So I guess we'll just follow the road and see what happens. Follow the Yellow Brick Road. Where's my... There we go. Fast boy move. So I do need to... Wait, I didn't notice that. Do you see the little circle of light around me when I have long stride on? That's so cool. Oh, Grammy, thank you so much for the hydrate. I want to check something. I want to make sure... Okay, yeah. I want to make sure it was accidentally tracking my... It was using my iPhone and not using my my other shit. Okay. So, let's see... Yeah, I didn't even notice that. That's so fucking cool. The Dwemer Sphere, Sun Sphere is high up somewhere. Yeah, so I think the plan is just follow the road, go up. If we encounter more Dwemer, then we're probably going the right way. We also need to make sure our followers don't drown in lava, because they did in fact try to do that last time. This looks really cool. I like this little... Ooh, that could be like a... Oh, hello. I didn't expect it to spawn in next to me. I was like... That could be a cool, like, photo op moment. Okay. Mind your business. Wait, glowing crab? Oh my god. That was excessive. Is that it? It might be. Who knows? Okay, that might be the way we need to go. Is are the rest of Sun. You know what? Okay, so I love my job, by the way. So if you don't know, most of you probably know by now, but if you don't, I'm a singing teacher and vocal coach for VTubers, which is really fun because I get to teach a lot of songs that I genuinely enjoy. But what I also like about it is a lot of the songs that people give me to sing, are very interesting and very fun. Is this where I need to be? I'm not sure. So one of the songs that one of my students brought in is Sheena. He's fantastic, by the way. I love him. He brought in a song about an army of tigers fighting the sun. And I thought that went hard as hell. Who is that? Alberthor?
Whatever it is, I don't have the time.
That's right.
for it.
He's one of our friends from Wormstooth. Okay. He's a Dwemer now, I guess. Good for him. Okay. Is this where we need to go? The Barrow Crypt. Okay, that might be where we need to go. Let's see what happens when we enter and see if the thing fixes itself, but we'll see. Not Ramstein. No, it's by, I don't remember who it's by. It wasn't like it's not niche. It has like over 1 million views on YouTube, but it wasn't like a mainstream artist. But it was a song about an army of tigers fighting the sun. And I thought it was cool as fuck. I think the best thing about it is these are always like songs I'm teaching at like fucking 9:30 in the morning. Because the thing is when you teach people all over the world, you know, I have some students in Japan, I have some students in Europe, I have some students in China. Oh, we're gonna take the glasses off and we put them back on. Yeah. But like that's the thing is that's why I'm able to have like a semi-normal work schedule in a way is because I have students like all over the world, which is really cool. But that's the thing is does it sometimes give me whiplash? Does it sometimes give me whiplash to sing Escape the City from Sonic at 9:30 in the morning? Yeah, but I wouldn't trade it anyway. How did I pronounce what did I say? What did I say? I forgot already. I forgot already. I don't know what I said. Ramstein. Is it Ramstein? I don't know. What? Oh, now David's laughing at me. I don't think I'm saying. Yeah, okay, no, I didn't say that right. I don't know. I don't listen to a lot of. I'm not super familiar with that band. So I might have fucked it up a little bit. But that's okay. That's okay. So let's go. What? I didn't know. Oh, that's the band. I didn't see the. Okay. Well, now it's time for EB to refer to themselves in third person. Because I has been banned until 7:20. Okay. But yeah, EB does not listen to a lot. I mean, I guess I always hesitate to call certain bands or artists metal because I know some people. There's so many like subgenres of metal. So I never know what's going on. I'll be honest.
Said the band term like 4 times.
Huh? Motherfucker! Okay. This is gonna be a rough one. Alright. EB tries again. I don't know. I'm gonna be... Wait, okay. Hold on. Does it count if it's I'm? Or is it just I by itself? Because if it's I'm, that's different. Okay? That's not the same. That's not the same. But if it's just I think I only. Okay, we'll say I'm then. Then we're good. We're still good. We're still good. That's the thing is like, EB does not like okay, now I did it. It does mean I am. Well, but a good thing it's not. A good thing it's not the actual word then. Good thing it's a abbreviation. Yeah. So it still works. Yeah, cuz this said this is the Barrow Crypt. So this we've cleared already. Okay. Is there anything else in here? I don't think there is. I just want to check just in case cuz I think EB hates referring to themselves in third person because EB thinks they sound stupid when they refer to themselves in third person like they're a fucking children's game protagonist. It's gonna be like Dora the Explorer for adults. Okay, chat, can you tell me where the Dragon's Den is? God! Yeah, I'm Evie has no idea. Evie doesn't have a goddamn clue what's going on. So I guess Evie guesses that it's not that one. Clearly it must not be that one. So, okay. Evie keeps searching. We keep searching because it said follow the road. So I'm not sure. Let me see. There's another redeem there, but for some reason my chat isn't auto-scrolling. Give me 1 second because that's bothering me. That's messing me up. There we go. Thank you for the posture check. Ugh, stretch. Okay. Let EB try that again. And then EB will find the road. The long road home. Country road. Take me home to the place EB belong. West Virginia. Mama. This is not country roads. This is not country roads, but that's okay. So I'm wondering, because we can say I think it might be this road, because the road, yeah, EB thinks we're gonna have to go around, and then it'll be okay. So let's go here, because I think we passed this, because I remember seeing this thing and being like, photo op, and then. Or Evie remembers seeing this thing, and then Skelly Boys spawned in. So maybe, Evie thinks we haven't gone over here yet. So that might work out. That might be okay. Because, yeah, the road kind of stops there. So then what happens? I don't know. Evie doesn't know. Shit. Evie hates word bands. Evie wonders why the world is so cruel. See, there's that big giant mushroom over there, so maybe that's got something to do with it. Let's head over to Big Mushroom and see what happened. Oh, yeah. Evie remembers the waterfall. Evie remembers the waterfall. Someone's gonna come in, first time seeing my stream, and they're gonna be like, what is this cringe? What is this cringe VTuber doing? Only referring to themselves in third person. I feel like fuck. What, huh? Oh, it's the crab. It's the crab. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Evie feels like the giant mushroom in the sky might have something to do with something. Wait, have we been over here? Oh, I don't think we have. Hold up. Where's my... Here. I need to stab you with ice. Wait, no, let me... There we go. Okay. Hi, what's going on over there? I am... Evie is very... Evie's gonna fucking kill herself. No. In Minecraft! In Minecraft! Okay, where's this guy? There you go. There you go. Okay. So, Evie thinks that might be where we need to go. I don't... Or Evie thinks... Evie... Consider using the Roys. Like Roy G. Biff. Evie seems frustrated. How long does EB have to suffer? The royal we? What is the royal we? Is it just me being like a dick? Cause I can do that. I can definitely do that. Let me. Yeah, I can't see. What's in here? Dead bodies. Oh shit! EB can't see. Okay. Potion. Gold. There's more out there. Are we gonna? Oh, he's right there. Okay, y'all. Y'all handle that one. That's not for me. I know it says, EB knows, by the way, that it says there, we haven't picked up the sword and the shield, by the way, but EB has Lydia, Recorder, and Inigo carrying a bunch of EB shit for them. So, we are good on that front. I do have those. That's right. I remember EB sent all of her friends to their death here on accident. But then they didn't die, so it worked out. So Evie Evie is making the wise decision to go around the lava. We're not gonna make the same mistake we did last time. We're gonna go around the lava. Let's see. I think Evie thinks we're gonna go this way. Companions are storage boxes. That is kind of how I'm treating it. Okay, that's got to be the right way because you know you're going the right way if there's enemies approaching. Whoa, ooh, where did the targeting want me to go? Hold on, Evie cannot see shit. Okay, there we go. Bam. There we go. Another one. Oh wait, can you? Does the Gloomworker not take? Yeah. How does it resist that? Okay, y'all deal with that one. I mean, Evie's gonna check out the other stuff. Evie might need silver ore for a display for legacy. The one thing Evie is upset about. No!
I killed it first.
Evie's son died! What? No! Oh my god! What the? No! No! Oh! Evie's about to clock a bitch! Okay, hold on. What are you doing?
Oh, your insides are on the outside.
No!
How beautiful. Is this all you've got?
What is wrong with you? That's my son! Go into the shadow void and think about what you've done. Did you see that? She killed 2 of my skellies. She's part of the quest. I can't, like... Have you atoned for your sins in the shadow realm? Are you done? Yeah, go mine like nothing happened. Right in front of my kids. That's so fucked up. She keeps hitting your followers with flame surge, making them upset. I can't dismiss her, is the thing. I don't think I can dismiss her because she's from the quest, is the problem I'm running into. Which is mildly frustrating, because Evie does not like her. Evie thinks she should die in a fire, but, you know.
Dreadful place.
Um,
Tried to make Ashams do once. What a disaster.
yeah, I can't, Evie can't dismiss her.
Well, that was
Which
a weird
is-
conversation. Next time, try telling it.
I think you should kill yourself! Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Evie thinks you should kill yourself! Okay, sorry.
I'm on my knees.
Evie doesn't know I came over her there. Evie.
Bothersome on my knees.
Evie's sorry you had to see that.
Caught up with you. I believe the Jew would prefer.
Listen. Evie's like a soccer mom, okay? She went after my boys. She went after my sons. What am I supposed to do?
What was that?
Just tell her, oh no, it's fine. It's okay. Thank you for the hydrate, by the way. Yeah, it's totally cool that you killed my son in cold blood. It's just, you know, rookie mistake. You know, it happens to the best of us. Doesn't everyone accidentally kill someone else's son once in a while? It's cool. It's chill. No, it's not. And I will not stand for it. Yeah, you know what? Evie is starting to understand why Recorder is the way that she is. Give me that human flesh. I'm hungry. Evie needs a snack. Okay. Let's see. I think, is there anything cool over here? Yeah, we already have, I do think we need some of the chitin for, Evie, thanks! We need, some of the chitin for, the displays in, the museum for the Chorus stuff. You are dead. You are also dead. Okay. We must be going the right way, because people keep trying to kill me. I mean, you accidentally killed your neighbor's son and he took it pretty well. Well, you know, some people are more patient than I am. Evie used to be patient once. Now Evie is jaded and filled with rage. Oh, hello. Evie thinks you should not shoot me. If you don't shoot me, I'll buy you a box of Girl Scout cookies. Deal? Deal. Okay. Let's see. Here we go. Okay. We're okay. This worm is important. Yeah, this is like the worm. It is the worm. We're putting it all on the line for the one worm. The tooth of the worm, even. Okay, there we go. Once upon a time. I think I took something. Oh. Evie took something Evie didn't need. Are you still lost? Potentially. Maybe. We aren't sure yet. Oh. We tried following the road because when I went outside, the road did not help. The road took me back to where I came. So now we're following the road inside and seeing if that works. However, good news is Falmer keeps trying to kill me, so that's got to count for something, right? Oh my gosh. Did you see that? She beat the helmet off of him. Lydia, oh my, you see that? That armor piece. Lydia!
Victory. For now.
Oh, shoot!
Huh?
Sorry.
I've got your back.
Sorry, it was an accident. I was, oh my god. Y'all saw that, right? She knocked the armor off that man. You know what? Where's the button? How do I'm gonna give you a gift. I want to give, oh no, there's no way to like give her a gift. I wanted to give her that human flesh as a little treat for her prowess in battle. Personally, if someone gave me a piece of human flesh to nibble on, I would think it's the highest of honors. Truly. Okay. Well, now we're back on the road. But which road? That road? Or that road? Because it said follow the road, and now there's two roads to road. I'm thinking this one, because I think that's going to take us back to where we came. So we're going to go this way and see if that works out. I really want to find this worm's tooth just so we can get this over with. Wait, does that lead back to the big boy mushroom? I'm not sure, because this... Let me see, hold on. We haven't seen this before. 20 gold, okay. And there's like a guy over there. Maybe it like, cause the marker says we're getting closer, but the marker was also wrong before. So I hope we're not, we might be going backwards. Who are you, by the way? Who are you?
Surely you must have better things to do than
You
to
were a
follow
Dwemer
your
like
plan.
5 minutes ago. What happened, buddy? Cause I'm wondering. Yeah, okay. We just went in a circle. So what that means though is we're gonna go the other way. We go the other way. We follow the road somewhere else. God, I hate this mod. I've been enjoying it so far. Just not anymore. And like, here's the thing: is everyone tells me they're like, "Oh, this Worm's Tooth. This is a classic. You gotta play Worm's Tooth." I'm like, okay. And Evie was like down to try it. Oh shit! It's 7:20. Okay, I'm normal now. What spell is there with the wheel? This one is Long Stride. Long Stride is the best spell. I can finally be normal again. Thank fuck. This spell is the best one in the game because all you have to do, you press it. And then you're fast as fuck. It's awesome. So honestly, it is very, very nice. It saves a lot of time. There was another road. Yeah, this is where we got before, where the road ended. Wait, hold on. Okay, there were 2 points to the road. And then we went, we went to one of them. Yeah, there's more road over here. Oh, shit. Alright, well, let's go down this road. I'm gonna fuck... Not again. Not again. Please. I have a family. No. No. Okay. EB just needs to just stay strong until 7:40. Why is... EB wonders what she did to deserve this. EB doesn't know if she has the will to go on anymore. Remember finding the dragon after coming out of the Dwemer ruins. You probably would have find a tunnel somewhere in here you may have missed. That's true. There's so many over there. Oh my god. Y'all are fine. I'm gonna keep trying to find the way out. Good luck with that. Evie doesn't think we have the war axe, so we'll grab that one. Eebee's wondering, I don't know if we went up here yet. Because Eebee genuinely does not know. Eebee's about to pull up the walkthrough. Eebee's about to get Dave to pull up the walkthrough on his phone and sit next to her because she doesn't know what the fuck's going on. Okay, this looks slightly different. Is this where we went before? Because I think this is where, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay, this looks different. Okay, hold on. This is new. Let's... Oh, shoot. I'm out of juice. There we go. All right, Lydia. Get him. Okay. My cousin just gave birth to a girl yesterday. Oh, good for her. All right. That's a new rock. New rock. Absolutely hype. Hold on. Everyone, back up. Eebee's trying to get the new rock. Okay. There we go. New rock for the collection. I love rocks. Okay. Eebee loves rocks. Fuck. Okay. This looks important. So I am hoping, I'm praying that this is the way. Because if it's not, I'm gonna lose, Eebee's gonna lose her fucking mind. Okay, there we go. Okay, perfect. Eebee is our rock. I've had a lot of people call me a lot of things in my time streaming. Most often one is an idiot. But I've had people call me mom. Wait, are you telling me that little, oh my god, we are over cucumbered. Holy shit. Yeah, I've had people call me mom a lot, and I'm kind of into it. Like, not in like a mommy, like, I don't want to be mom in like a mommy type way. I want to be mom in like a mother type way. Like, you know how people will call drag queens like mother, be like, or like people will call like celebrities mother, like because they think they're cool. I don't want to be mommy. I want to be mother. Okay, I want to be that slay, that cunty, you know, slay the house boots down. That people call me mother. That's what I'm going for. But yeah, the most often thing people call me is a massive bitch, but that's besides the point. Okay, so we have too much junk in our trunk. Let's get rid of... I do need all these bones. The bones are non-negotiable. Or Eebee needs the bones. Okay, we can get rid of some steel, I guess. That's fine. We really need to go back to the museum, low-key, but the museum is broken. Okay, what's this? Dim Frost Spoilery. Have we been in that? I don't know if that's where we need to go, but we haven't been there, so we might as well check it out. We might as well clear out everything while we're here. Fuck it. Okay, more Magicka. There we go. And let's see, Conjuration's at 90. Can I get my, like, Skeleton Commander thing? Puppet Master! Okay, your created skeletons take 25% less damage when you are blocking, deal 25% more attack damage when you are attacking. Yes, perfect. I want this one. And then the next one we're going for is King of Bones, because that sounds, I don't know if I'm even going to use it correctly, but it sounds cool as hell. Please ask David for me if he calls you mother or mommy. He calls me Stinky.
You've done well.
He calls me a silly little guy. Like, I feel like it's fairly obvious who wears the pants in our relationship. Every time I make a joke about, or Eebee makes a joke about getting no bitches, there's always someone that's like, oh, but Eebee, you have David. And David is always very, very quick on the dot to say, no, Eebee is my bitch. and he's not wrong. I can't really negate that. You don't wear pants? Not really. I mean, I work from home full time. Like, if I don't gotta, why not? Like, listen, okay? I'm not wearing pants right now, right? I've said this before and I'll say it again. Why'd you become a VTuber, Eebee? Because I don't like wearing pants. That's literally the 99, like the biggest reason of it all, is I just don't want to wear pants, okay? That's literally all there is to it. There's no, like, deep, like, meaning to it. I just don't like wearing pants. Like, when I first started, it used to be because I was really insecure about myself and my appearance. Oh, shoot. And nowadays, I don't mind showing my face. Like, I still do face cam streams from time to time. I thought about doing a face cam stream today, but then I didn't want to put on pants. Like, I don't really care if people see my face or if people, like, you know. But, like, nowadays it's just more fun, you know? Like, I feel like with VTubing, I don't have to worry as much about different stuff. I used to be really insecure about my appearance when I first started streaming. But as I've gotten older, Evie just kind of doesn't give a shit, you know? Like, the way I see it, or the way Evie sees it, is, there are gonna be some people that find you attractive. There's gonna be some people who don't find you attractive. Bing bong, who gives a shit? You know? Like, that's the thing, is I feel like sometimes there are some VTubers, and I say this again as someone who works with VTubers professionally, right? Yeah, don't ask me that. That's weird. That's kind of weird. I'm not answering that. But yeah, there are a lot of VTubers I've met who are absolutely fucking gorgeous in real life, and there's a lot of YouTubers I've met who kind of just look like just normal people, you know? Like, that's the reality of it, is not everyone you see that's a content creator online is gonna look like a model, you know? A lot of us are just normal ass people, you know? But yeah, so, you know, it is what it is, you know? But I just don't give a shit. You are adorable. Listen, we're getting a little bit too heavy-handed on the bully the streamer bit. I'm gonna ask you to chill out. Let me see. I don't know if Evie doesn't know if this is the way. Normal people don't wear pants. You get it. Normal people, you know. I feel like there's a we live in a society joke I can make here. It's all about the man. The man wants you to wear pants. We must rise up and rebel. You are superb, like Superb Alice. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know if this is there even... Okay, well, there's a pathway over here. Wait, what? Yeah, we'll clear it out. See if there's something over here. And then see what happens. Because, like, there could be, but I don't know. Without pants but gapless, thigh chafing is a struggle. I feel you there, bestie. Honestly, usually I just, like, I don't know. It used to be, like, one of those things that I kind of dealt with, and now I just don't anymore. I don't know what happened. Maybe remember wearing jeans in the winter while I was in school. Yeah, why would you? Okay, that's one of those other things. I hate, God damn it. Evie hates jeans. Evie will literally start a crusade against wearing jeans. Yeah, don't let the man force you to wear pants. That's what they want. That's what they want. That's how they have power over us. It's all about the man. I don't know. Evie doesn't know where she was going with that. Evie doesn't know. It's sometimes you have to fight back against society by not wearing pants. Okay. What's over here? There we go. Gold and I prefer pants to shorts. For some reason, I sweat more in shorts than pants. I think that's how David is too. So you're not alone in that. Because I know David doesn't like wearing shorts. For me, usually, like, I'm one of those people that just wears leggings all the time. Like, when I am wearing pants, I usually just wear leggings. Whoa, my God, Piss Lake! Wait! Is this the dragon lair? Why are all the dragons in piss? What? The man wants us to wear pants so they can wear all the skirts. Actually, you're so right. You're so right. Who did this? Who pissed this?
And thus, my record's bigger? Oh, you'll pay for that extra weight I have to carry.
Who? What? Rest in piss, dragon. Who did this? Oh my God, talking about being overhydrated. Some folks like to wear in dresses. True, wear whatever you want. Here's my hot take. Wear whatever you want, but don't piss wherever you want. Thunderbolt sounds cool. Oh. Okay, this is happening. Evie is not sure if this is the dragon we need, but it's the dragon We get pissing on the moon. Honestly, based. Based as hell. Yeah, you guys handle that. Eebee's just gonna do that. Well, that's cool. My inventory is too overfilled. Don't tell me where I can and can't piss. Fair enough. Fair enough. Could've? No, we can't recruit Dragon. There's also a big guy over there. It's him! He's the one that's pissing. Look how proud he looks. You can see the little, he's still pissing right now. You see that? It's like coming out of his ankles. He's pissing out of his ankles. Oh my God. All right. Get him, boys. Get him. I want a boner dragon. Actually, that would be cool. Can I summon boner dragon? Okay.
5D.
Good night, pisser. Okay.
I need a moment here.
There we go. Oh, wait. Why were you guys fighting? Oh my God, chill out. Everyone's so tense right now. Maybe if you just pissed yourself, you could chill out for a little bit. Apple, thank you so much for the lurk. I hope your work goes well. And I hope you don't piss yourself like that guy did. That'd be crazy. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, I know it's like, I know the bar is on the floor. But like, come on. I can't come in here and not say something about the piss. It looks like piss. I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry. Is this it? No. 'Cause I'm wondering.
I know I did. I should have worked on my cardio.
Is Elmira going after? Okay, Elmira, you.
Take this.
Oh my God, the girls are fighting.
Wait, where'd you go?
Okay, Elmira, back into the Shadow Realm. Until you think, no, that's her name. Back into the Shadow Realm until you've thought about what you've done. Are you chill now? Are you chill now? We're chill. We are chilling. Also, my model stopped moving. I don't know what's up with that, but that's okay. Is my Wi-Fi on? That might be why. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Hello? Oh, there we go. I don't know what happened there. Okay. Let's see. Anything else in Piss Cavern? Or is this it? I think this is it. I don't know. I like the idea that, that Candleberg personally looked at this area and was like, you know what would make it better? You know what would enhance the gameplay experience of all Skyrim players? Turn the water into pee. Yeah, that'll do it. And you know what? If that was honestly his thought process, based as fuck. Absolutely based. Let's see. Yeah, I think, or Eebee thinks, oh, this is getting rough. I don't know if I can, or Eebee doesn't know if she can do it. Fuck. What is this? Bucket? Eebee doesn't know what that is. The miner guides you to the barrow, but you killed him. Are you serious? Why'd y'all let me kill him? What? Oh my God. Oh no. No, and now one of my skeletons is dead again. Oh my God, they're still fighting. No, the consequences of my actions. No.
Wake up so I can kill you again.
Chill. Eevee's gonna fucking lose it. Let's. What can Eevee drop? Because we have 400. Okay, you know. Can Eevee summon? Can Eevee summon skeletons in the piss? Like, what's it called? The altar. What time of day is it right now? Like, it's at night, right? 4:01 p.m. Can I use this here? Eevee doesn't think they can. No stars shine. Okay, well, we're gonna have to give some stuff up then. Nothing that has a display. But if we have any doubles, then... Hi, Gina! There's a gay little dance. How goes the wench hunting? The wench hunting's going bad. I'm stuck in a lake of piss. I don't know how I got here, or how Evie got here, because the word I is bad. But now I'm over cucumbered. Wait, why am I not wearing my fur cloak? I love my, oh no, I am wearing my fur cloak. The fur cloak goes hard as hell. I don't care what anyone says. I'm not letting go of that fur cloak for nothing. Jingle, thank you so much for the 15 PlayStations. Thank you, gamer. I appreciate you. Why do I have these? Why does EB have these? No, put that away. Why does EB have that? Fuck that. Okay, we don't need it. We don't need it. What else can I get rid of? Orcish plate helmet. Fuck that. We don't need it. Oh, good night, Baron. Thanks for hanging out. Leather helmet of restoration. We don't need that. Go away. Okay. Oh my god, I'm still cucumbered. Okay. Hide shield. I think I was gonna disenchant some of that stuff. Yeah, we don't need it. Okay. See, I'm so ride or die for the cape. Look how swooshy it is. Look how swooshy it is. Don't forget to piss before bed, or you'll wake up here. Okay, let's go. Crommy, thanks so much for the hydrate. Okay. Now I'm gonna piss. Because I drank water. Consequences of my actions. Thank you for the posture check. Okay. There's a door over here.
Isn't it time for dinner yet?
I'm so mad I killed the miners. This whole thing could have been averted if I didn't decide, if Evie didn't decide to be fucked up and evil. Did you know that killing innocent people has consequences? Because I sure fucking didn't. Oh, and now we're doing it again. Okay. 2 more minutes and then I can be normal again. 2 more minutes. Fuck! 2 more minutes and then EB can be normal again. EB is so normal. EB is so normal and not weird at all. It still says we haven't cleared this yet. There's that thing, I guess. Let's see. What are you doing? I hate you, by the way. What? Are you good, by the way? Okay, I hate you. You killed my son. Fuck! EB hates you. This is so hard. Why is this so hard? Why can I... Why... Okay. Take a deep breath. Everything's gonna be okay. Every little thing is gonna be alright. Don't you worry about a thing. 'Cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Is this the way? This is the way. Yeah, because we haven't explored... No, we have explored, actually. It says we haven't cleared it yet, though, so I don't know. Or Evie doesn't know. You could ban word for 40 minutes. I will... Evie will shit her pants. And cry. Okay. Yeah, I think Evie thinks we're just gonna leave for now. Evie thinks we're just gonna leave because Evie doesn't know what the hell to do. But we found something cool, I guess. So, you know, the memories of Piss Lake will last a lifetime, surely. Wow, I really do hate when my actions have consequences. That's really messed up. I'm gonna be real with you. Let me turn the... There we go. My light wasn't on enough. Okay, well, we followed the road, and the road led us to piss. So, I'm not sure. Well, hey, hold on. What's this? It's like a... Where does this lead to? Maybe Piss Lake was the friends we made along the way. What is this? Am I not supposed to be down here? Not sure. Where does this lead? If nothing else, at least I'm exploring. I mean, we can take a look at the map and see what we haven't seen yet. I don't know if this is the way. Let me get the land and then we'll see what happens. Let's go down over here. Let's see. There's still a lot we haven't found yet, it seems. So let's head up over here. See if we can parkour our way back to the... Well, actually... Hey, Lydia. Lydia, like... I don't know what it is, but she looks really silly just doing her little doggy paddle in the river. Okay. Come up over here. And we'll see what's up. So, let's head back. Look at everyone in the water! Pool party! Yippee! Look at Lydia! Yes! Let's go. Michael Phelps, who? Let's go. Come on. Oh, no, she stopped doing it. You can drown. Okay, come on. Whee! Alright, let's head up here, and then maybe... That's the thing, is we're gonna get through this whole stream. It's gonna be like the last, 2 minutes. He's gonna be like, look, guys, we found the dragon den. So, the answer is to, where is it? Not over there, I guess. Alright, let's see. Because that's the thing, is we're stuck on this fucking island until we find it. I want to finish this quest. I genuinely don't know, though. Alright, it's time. David!
What?
Can you help me? I'm stupid.
With what?
I don't know where to go.
Okay.
Can you help me?
No.
The sun! Thank you, David!
Yeah, no problem.
Woo! Okay, that's the sun. That's the sun. Okay. That's where it is. I saw it in the walkthrough. I saw it. Let me up there. Okay, I'm ready. I need to stare at the sun. Let me go stare at the sun. We did it. Oh my god, we did it, chat. Okay, the sun. Let's go! Yay! Oh, and now the marker works. Holy fuck, we did it! I'm gonna be... What? Oh my god! Ah! Wait. I wasn't ready. That's cheating. I wasn't ready. I was so excited. Oh my god, I'm gonna... Okay, hold on. Oh, I'm out of soup. Can you guys do that? I'm gonna be a little baby real quick. Thank you. I was so stunned by the fact that we found it. I didn't expect that. I didn't expect to get my ass beat immediately after. Are you dual wielding staffs?
All right. Time.
Did you see that? She was dual wielding staffs. I didn't know you could do that. Okay, here. Oh yeah, you do cold magic? I also do cold magic. Isn't that cool? Look at that. Die. Okay. Let's see. You got anything? We have the bow already, so we should be good. One of my gamers is holding the bow. Alright, here we go. Come on. Okay. There we go. We have the regular bow. I think we're good to go. Holy fuck. We did it. I'm so happy. I'm so stupid. I didn't know if we could. Are you a friend? No. You know, I should probably talk to them before I start blasting, but that's okay. Oh my god, you are definitely not a friend. Get out of my face. Get out of my life. I don't need your negative vibes. There we go. I can't believe David found that for us. Can you believe that? He's so smart. Love him. So base. Thank you, David, for your hard work, by the way.
Yeah, anytime.
Thanks, babe. Okay. I don't want to get rid of the fragments because you need those. We can drop some of the malachite, or we can always find more later. Let's see. That's all fine and dandy. Anything cool in here? Jasper. Wait, that's the name of our man slut. It's him. Man slut. Oh my god, the cameo? That's crazy. That's crazy. Okay. I didn't take my ADHD meds, by the way. Unrelated, but I wanted you guys to know. I forgot. Oh, you know what I did today? I forgot. Okay, I talked about this in Discord, but I forgot to tell you. I replaced the taillight in my car all by myself. One of the things I want to start doing is car maintenance is fucking expensive. And I have a car that's like, it's like in the year 2012, right? I'm not gonna go into specifics more than that because I don't want to accidentally dox myself somehow. Because fuck, you never know. But I'm trying to like get as much use of it out of, like as much use of it as I can, right? I'm gonna drive that thing into the fucking ground, right? But one of my taillights went out, and if you don't know, you probably do know, but if you don't, that's illegal. It's not legal to drive around with a broken taillight, which is like, I get it, but it's like, bro, I'm a busy lady. Like, give me some time, you know? Can I get like a grace period? But the thing is I was Googling because I was like, I don't know how much car stuff costs. Like, okay, I do, but like I haven't started having a lot of problems with my car until like last year. But I remember I Googled it, like, how much does it cost to replace a taillight? And you know what Google said? Google said anywhere from $100 to $800. And I was like, respectfully, I'm not doing that. And it's not that I don't have respect for what mechanics do. Mechanics are really important, and the work they do is incredibly valuable to society, okay? However, I'm broke. And I don't want to spend money if I don't have to. So I took my ass to AutoZone, me and my dad, and I bought the bulbs. You know how much the bulbs were? They were $10 for the bulbs. They weren't LEDs, but they weren't, you know. And I get that a lot of the cost is labor. Again, valid. People deserve to charge well for their work. That is valid. But like I said, I'm broke. $800 US to replace a bulb that costs $10. I think it depends on like what kind of bulbs you get and the labor cost mostly, but still, right? Even if it's $100, right? No, I'm not doing that. Oh, motherfucker. Okay. You guys handle that because I do nothing against those guys. But basically, we went there and I learned to replace my own taillight, and I was very excited about that. The next thing I want to do is I want to do my own oil change because that's another thing that's expensive. I think that might have been what it was, is it thought, like, because I Googled taillight, but it might have assumed I meant the whole, like, thing, the whole kit and caboodle, you know? But that's not what I need. But that might have been where, like, the confusion happened, but still, you know? So, I did it all by myself, and I was very proud of myself. I was very happy. Alright, y'all having fun? Cool. Alright, I'm gonna keep going. Y'all have fun with that. Alright, are you a Falmer? Okay, Falmer I can kill. The dwarven things is negotiable. There we go. Okay. Yeah, these are all things I have, so we should be okay. Let's see. We're getting there. How far is it? 291. Okay. I ate a lot of yellow rice. Hell yeah. I love yellow rice. But yeah, so I want to learn how to change my own oil next. But I don't know if that's doable because my dad said you have to have something to lift your car up. But I've also seen some people say that you don't. So, I don't know. But I'd like to learn how to do that too because that's another thing that's like expensive. I want to be more independent, if that makes sense. I want to learn how to do more shit myself rather than just paying other people to do it. You know what I mean? Ooh! Fuck. Okay, Inigo, come here. Inigo. Where's Inigo? Inigo.
Call before I cut something out of you.
God, I hate her. I hate Elmira so much. Inigo, where are you? Where is Inigo? Hello? He has the fancy armor. Inigo? Do I not see him? He's gotta be over here somewhere, right? Where'd he go? Depends on if you fit under the car and if you can fit the oil pan under it. I probably could. I've gone under my car before, so like, not to like do anything, just like for fun. I was really into hide and seek one time, so I know I can fit into my car, or under my car. You need something to lift the car up. Yes, they make ramps you can drive on top of your car. Okay. That makes sense then. I might be able to slip under there. It's still better to lift it. Yeah, that's probably fair. That's probably safer. Either a jack or a ramp. Okay. Not like my ass who didn't double check and all my oil came out. No! I would cry. I would literally cry on the spot. Okay. Let's give you the Falmer War Axe, the Glass War Axe. There you go. And now his inventory is already full because we're giving him so many weapons, but that's okay. God, when we get back to the museum and we do the museum quest, because that's the thing. Okay, this is the one thing that I was a little irked about before we started this, and I should have honestly resolved this before I went into Wormstooth, is we currently the museum is locked right now because there's the night at the museum quest we have to do. The museum is haunted right now, so we need to do that quest to make sure everything's okay before we can start donating stuff again. So what I'm thinking is we might just store a bunch of stuff in a player. God damn it, my skeletons! Okay.
How does a prayer to your heart sound? Or maybe your neck? I'm feeling
Everyone's so mean to my skeletons. No one respects them. It's so mean. Why are they so mean to them? Ancient Falmer War Mace. That's a new one. Okay. So. We do not need. Okay. What is? I wish we could sort by. Can we sort by weight? That would actually be nice. Wait. Sort by. No, we can't sort by weight, but that's okay. I guess. What are the heaviest things? Well, I'm wearing that. 20? Oh, shit. Can anyone carry more stuff? We have the mage backpack. I'm wearing that, right? Yeah, okay. Let's see. Inigo, do you have any room left?
What is yours is mine.
Okay, we can give him some stuff. We just can't give him anything that's too heavy. I mean, anything helps, right? You want to hold these 8 gold ingots? Thanks, bro. You can have a little puppy. Okay, no, I can't give you the little puppy. I'm sorry.
If you need anything else,
can you hold anything else?
Really? And here I
Let's
thought you
see.
can actually lift.
Shut up.
Just
Shut
kidding.
up, recorder.
Here, I'll help you out.
Why don't you take the ingots, the ore, can you take any weapons or armor? No. Okay. And then what about Lydia? Lydia's a big beefy lady. She might be able to hold more stuff. Oh, that's the wrong one. Candlelight. There we go. God, I love inventory management. Don't you guys love inventory management? It's so fun. There you are. Hey, girl. Yeah, she's got a backpack on and everything.
Anything you need from me.
I need to trade some things with you.
would
There
be
we go.
my
Do
pleasure.
you like games like Silent Hill and Resident Evil? I've honestly, like, don't hate me for this. I've actually never played either of them, honestly. Okay, we were able to give her the armor, so that's got to count for something.
Very good, man.
Is she wearing it? Oh, she kind of looks like a baddie. Oh, slay. Slay. Okay. This is more manageable now. But, you know what? We can probably get rid of some of these books, too. If they're not displays and they're not locked, then I don't need them. Let's see. A lot of these are locked, unfortunately, it looks like. You have no opinion at all. Yeah. I feel like it's one of those games where it's like, I should play them at some point. It's one of those things where I just kind of haven't gotten around to it, if that makes sense. There we go. Because each of these books weighs like 1 pound. So, like, I may as well try to get rid of them. That brought us down by 4 pounds, though, so that's got to count for something. Okay. Let's see. Orcish helmet. Oh, god damn it. I do want the Orcish helmet. I really want... Why do I have to be a hoarder? Why does a circlet weigh 2 pounds? Okay, we don't need all that, then. We need the Imperial boots. Shit. Do I have, like, dragon bones or anything like that in my inventory? Okay, you know what? We're dropping the ingots. We can buy ingots, okay? Why haven't you sold all this stuff? I'm hoarding a lot of it for the museum. That's the big thing, is I'm hoarding stuff for the museum. You know, we can drop the ingots. We do not need... Those are things we can find anywhere, honestly. Yeah, just drop all the ingots. If we really need it, we'll go. We'll go. Okay, we'll go buy them. Okay, it's fine. Everything is fine. And give me your money. Okay. Alright. You got anything cool? No. Okay. Palmer's sword. We have that already. Let's see. What? Why does she look like that? Why do you also look like that? Oh, okay. Give me your drugs. They might come in handy later. We don't have to organize because our elf friend will do it for us. Exactly. Aryan, please. I wish I could bring Aryan with me on adventures. Like, I kind of get why you can't. Ooh, that's a trap. I sure hope no one steps on it and triggers it. That would be awful. Please don't do that. Getting Andromeda. It changed. Ooh, that sound. Did someone trigger it? May want to move out of the way there, buddy. Oh wow, that's crazy, huh? That's crazy. Yeah, I actually haven't heard of that one before, so I might need to check that out. Okay. All right, they're pulling up. I wonder if actually, I don't know if I'll. Will this actually? Friendly fire is a thing that fucked me up last time, so I don't want to. I need to be careful. All right, I'll just let them do it because. Yeah. Anytime I try to, my frost magic just doesn't work with them. So we'll just let. Oh, big boy. Big boy. You guys are fine, right? Yeah, you guys are fine. They're fine. It's cool. It's cool. I did get Bandolier though, finally. Bandolier was something I had 7 billion years ago in my old, like when I used to make my own mod list. But I just never downloaded it into the collection. I kind of just thought it was in the collection. But I download it, so I'm hoping it'll help me be not a hoarder. That's what I am hoping. So we'll see. I'll have to go in and buy some stuff because I don't think, unless there's a way to do it. Wow, who do you have as a companion? It's Recorder. She's insane. Not in like a cute way. I think she's just very much not all right in the head. But yeah. So I'm thinking we'll go get some Bandolier stuff. What does Bandolier do? Bandolier essentially gives you a bunch of extra pouches you can wear. Wait, hold on. Leather scout armor. They kind of look like that, so that's why I'm like, wait. No, he's not wearing any pouches. But they're extra pouches you wear that give you extra carry weight, right? It's basically like wearable pockets, you know? So that's what we're going for, is I need... My trunk is too small for all my junk. So, well, we're trying to improve on that. But I am really hoping we can finish this quest today. This stream may be a long one because I really wanna finish this, and I really wanna get the museum stuff done because oh my god, we have so much shit. Yeah, all right, through there, I guess. Hopefully this is the right way. If we end up getting lost again, I'm gonna be so mad. Wait, am I drowning? Oh, that did not. Oh. I see what's happening. Is it lifting me up to the top? Oh my god. Okay. Whoa. Was using the Wild West to hold bullets? Oh, I want to be a cowboy. Hell yeah. Who doesn't want to be a cowboy? Let's be honest here. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. Alright, we just gotta keep our head above water. Paddle like your life depends on it. Did you guys have, like, okay, how many of y'all did, like, swim team when you were younger? Because I did swim team when I was younger, and the reason I bring this up is, one, because we're swimming, but two, one of the things I remember about, swim team is I remember there was always, like, they would always, like, sell, like, snacks and stuff at the swim meets. But there was always the walking tacos or the tacos in a bag. Did y'all have those? It was like crushed. You take a bag of Doritos, right? Beat the hell out of it. And then put like ground beef, cheese, and like other taco like toppings in it. That was like the bit. I'm sure it'll be fine, Lydia. But I don't know why, but her swimming made me think of those. Is this? Oh, it's saving? There we go. Okay. I don't know, my parents used to have really big, like, Halloween parties, and they used to always have them then. I haven't had one in, like, a really long time. You're telling me those tacos can walk? Yeah, they're really good. Oh. There's some. Why are all these adventurers dying with their pussies out? Do you see that? She's literally dying. What the fuck? That wasn't a thing at the swim meets where I was? That's wild. Maybe, because I did think it was like a Maryland thing. So maybe it was just a yeehaw Maryland thing. Yeah, why are all the adventurers dying with their coochie out? What's up with that? Like, personally, look at all that. Oh my god. Oh, there's so much good shit. There's so much good shit. Okay. 435. I want that orcish armor, dude. I want it. You know what? You know what? Do I have any potions actually that are... Okay, we don't need the dick smaller potion or the dick bigger potion. Those we can drop. Do we have any of the potions of, like, carry weight? No, okay. I guess we don't need drugs. Well, wait, hold on. No, I thought... Okay, here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna do something controversial. Yeah, brave. Okay, where's the... Here, let me zoom in. Because I think... I know there's that dragon there, but if I use long stride... it doesn't matter. Oh, hey!
Much time has passed.
What's up?
since you last spoke. For a time, I feared you would not honor my challenge.
Explain yourself, dragon. Why have you lured us here?
It is simple, Dovahkiin. Avrovan Delan. I invited you to join my wandering dead in this Bromlock Stronma. It is my seat of power. Nuz Croesus. Now that you are here, the prey is scattered and weak. You shall fall.
I don't want to do that.
None of my Lavu Delans.
I actually don't
My
want to be
army
rotting
of
flesh.
rotten
I'm not
flesh.
sure if that's a hot take or not. Why are you trying to do that? Why are you trying to raise an undead army? Because if I'm mistaken, that's my thing. What are you, some kind of fucking poser?
Dalmoro Bakdova. To restore the age of the dragons, I must turn the filth against itself.
Why are you calling me filthy? I shower
invite
every
the
day.
strongest of
I'm very
Tazarkan
clean.
to become my Serot
I'm not stinky at all.
so that we
Fun
may
fact.
begin the hunt. Proda Tir Vokun.
Do not think I will fall so easily, dragon. Okay, let's... I think it's time to square
I
up.
have many who will answer my call, but you are Matmahas.
Matmahas.
And indeed,
I know these dragons feel all snobby knowing we can't speak Dova. Oh, they absolutely do.
Togat Lane. Follow if you can.
He just called me
so that
stupid, I
may
bet.
Swallow you in the fury of the north.
I don't know, there is a Dova translator.
Find some place to hide.
Oh shoot, defense. Oh boy, okay. Well that's cool. Alright, well, looks like we're murdering the dead, I guess. So I am over cucumbered, but I think through the power of long stride I can still fight. There we go. I just need to kind of lay low a little bit, and I think I can manage. Because you saw, when I had long stride on, I was still cruising, okay? I was still schmoving. So here's what we're gonna do. All right, long stride, put that on the left. Oh no, I can't. Wait, why is it not letting me move fast anymore? Am I too over cucumbered? It's possible that I'm too over cucumbered. Okay, we can drop some of these actually. Yeah, drop a few more of those. We'll keep 2 on us. Drop the Welkin stone is expensive, but ultimately we don't really need it. We will drop some of our bones. Yeah, let's drop. I'm not dropping the skulls because those are the hardest to find. Let's bring everything down to 6. We'll have 6 of each skeleton because I think that's the max amount of, or 6 of each bone because I think 6 is the max amount of skeletons we can have right now. So let's just drop some bones, and that'll be okay. There we go. So bring it all down to 6. There we go. Drop. There we go. Drop. One. Yeah, the bones are honestly taking up a good amount of space. You can see it's starting to fall. We do not need that many hip bones. These hips do lie. They betrayed me. Okay, 400 out of 495. We'll just bring it down. Let's see. Heart of Kagranak. Why did I have that? Was that a display? That wasn't a display, right? Okay, it's not a display, so I don't care. Sorry if that's a hot take. Okay, there we go. If we're only a little over cucumber, then it looks like we can still move. Okay. Alright, we'll let them go up. I could use some of those hips. Well, you know, if you want them, take them. You know, I've got too many hips. Alright, and we're gonna actually just use our potions because we might as well, you know? They also take up inventory space, so why not, you know? Go ham. Go crazy. Go stupid. Okay? Let's see. I guess we just have to keep defeating the dead people. God, Recorder really just goes in on people. I respect it. Okay. Actually, no. We're gonna heal with the potions because we need to get rid of the stuff. And then let's get more hot ladies. Okay? Another one of my skeletons went down. Fantastic. Oh, shit. Okay, hold on. Whoop. Hold on. Okay, here we go. More Magicka, and then Frost Cloak. Fuck! Oh, shit! Okay, I did not think it would actually just kill me like that. Holy fuck. Recorder sound. She does give me Lollipop Chainsaw vibes. You're right. She does have Lollipop Chainsaw vibes. I'm gonna be real with you. After all the shit we went through to get there, I am reloading. I am fucking reloading. I am... No. Oh, fuck. That's my... Whoop. That's my EMB. Whoop. I didn't even remember how to enable that, so wow. Crazy. Crazy. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Let's do this again, and what I'm thinking... Let's loot all the bodies at... Well, actually, maybe we do still loot them at the beginning. Because if we loot them at the beginning, then they'll have less shit to fuck us over with. You know what I mean? Like, how much damage can a bunch of naked people do? Can you imagine dying and then being resurrected and then being naked? That's crazy. Let's see. All right. We done this. Been there, done that. Yaha. Okay. Here we go. Okay. Now you're naked. Haha. What are you gonna do about that? And let me get rid of some of my shit before we get going. And then, you know what? We'll only have... How many do we have of these? 4? Get rid of that. You know, we'll go down to 4. Fuck it. It'll be fine. There's no shortage of bones in the world with how I treat people. Have you ever tried to wrestle a naked person? You know, I've done a lot of weird shit in my life. Can't say I've ever done that. The only one I'm still keeping is the skulls, because those are usually kind of hard to find. So we're gonna drop everything else. All right, looks like we're actually... That might be the best way to do it, because looks like that's helping us out a ton. Looking at our carry weight here. Yeah, we'll do this. There's no shortage of bones in the world. We can always find more bones. The boner army will never die. Make a skull cup. Okay, that would actually kind of go hard to sell. Okay, there we go. And then there's some other stuff I think I got rid of too, but I can't remember what it is. That's fine. Okay. We got the ladies out. Let me actually quick save. Okay, Fallen Adventure. Here's what we'll do. Everyone... Ice Spike. We'll just do Ice Spike for now. Because I don't want to accidentally friendly fire again. There we go. So far, we're doing good.
I won't be showing you any mercy.
Some of my skeletons might die, though, honestly. This is a rough fight. Because the thing with skeletons is I don't know if there's a way to heal them, unfortunately. Okay. We're going to have to loot all of them at the very end. We'll loot all of them at the end. Okay. Okay, there's one of them. More hot ladies. You gotta go. Okay. Alright, Inigo's fine. My skeleton's good. Obviously requires a robot companion for storage. What? Since when? I wonder if I haven't. Oh shit, hey! Alright, there we go. No more healing for you. No more setting shit on fire for you. Okay. And then, fuck regen. We are just chug, 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 chug. And then this is the, what is it? I thought I had the regeneration one. Maybe I don't. That's okay. There's so many of them. We're probably getting a shit ton of XP from this, though. That's gotta count for something. And you know what? More hot ladies. More hot ladies. Alright, you gotta go. There we go. That's the thing is, I know Ice Spear does more damage, but like, it's so much. Man. Okay. You gotta go. And then use another potion, because fuck it, we have so many of them. There we go. Okay, that is hitting her. Okay, she's switching to the staff. Nope. Nope. Okay, not allowed. Alright, any others? Alright, looks like we got them for the most part. Let's do some lootin' tootin'. Rootin' tootin' and lootin', if I do say so myself. I say so myself. I'm with you, Inigo. Honestly, I'm with him. Loot it, get out. He's on to something. That's all I'm saying. Orcish mace. We can use that. I know one of them at Orcish. We'll take the gold diamond necklace. Okay, we did get the armor already. Orcish gauntlets. Let's see. Yeah, the Falmer shit and the Orcish shit we're starting to get a ton of, which is awesome, honestly. Okay. I think defend Stonehall. Wait, do I have to go down there? Hold up. Is he like going? Should you find what? Okay, well I guess we have to. Are we leaving? Is there another way out of here? Whoopsie, wrong button. That's also the wrong button. Okay. I don't know why, but I thought I was gonna have to kill the dragon here, but I guess the dragon's skedaddly dootin'. And we have to head back to Stonehall. Is there a way out of here that's like...
I hope I am more permanent than your magical
You are,
friend.
Busty. You are. I wanted to see if there's like an easier way out of here. I'm not sure if there is. Here? Maybe? No? No. Okay, let me, because I can't see shit, to be honest. There we go. Okay. Is this an easier way out? Yes, it is. Okay. Let's head out, and I guess we'll defend Stone Hollow. Because Big Dragon is, trying to say fuck you, I guess. Oh, okay, this is... Do we... I don't feel like this is the easiest way to do this, but, if you say so. Can we drain it? If I press the lever, will it drain the water? No, I can't. Okay. Well, I guess we'll leave. No, I can't do that! Fuck! Fuck, 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 fuck. Okay, I guess that's not the way. That's not the way. That's... I know you're drowning, but, drink this! I guess that's not the way. That's not the way. Oh, motherfucker. Okay, no! Not the way. Wrong turn. Wrong turn.
You swim like a fish.
Thanks, Inigo. No. Wait, do I have a water? No, I don't have water. Okay, if I did, it would have been really funny. I'm gonna be honest. Okay, come on. We went the wrong way. We went the wrong way. Okay, Commandant Argonian L. I can't even negate that. All right. That is the way we came, so I think I'm just an idiot, and the faster way to get out was the other one. Was the one marked on the map. Like, I'm dumb. Okay, I'm a little... Well, actually, no, that is the direction we're supposed to go, so I don't know what's going on there. I really thought this guy was gonna come to life, by the way, but I guess not. Here we go. This might be it. Yeah, I'm hoping this is like an elevator. Can we not get in? Oh, fuck me. This way? Oh. Oh, you guys knew the way. Wow. Thanks for sharing that with the rest of the class. What the fuck? What? What was that? What's that do? Yeah, everyone gathered over here. Did it open this up? No. The alarm lever. Yeah, because everyone ran up there. What is this? Huh? That did something. What'd that do? Oh, it's just the door. Well, but I can still... Yeah, that doesn't do anything. It's not related to that, is it? Maybe a specific order? Maybe. My thought is get out through that way. Oh, fuck. Did I fuck myself? I think I did. Ugh, shit. There's really no other way to get out of here than the two levers. Maybe something over here. No? I remember we looked at that before. Oh, and now you're here. Ah! I get it now. I think I get it now. Okay. Did the lever have something to do with that big boy? Probably. Alright, well, you guys have fun with that. Is he gonna open up the elevator, though, once we kill him? Can we open that back up? Please?
As much as I enjoy fighting,
Okay, I do no fucking damage to him, I don't think.
work
Let
on
me
my
see.
files, so could you just
Yeah, I don't do
lie down
shit.
and
Alright,
die?
y'all have fun with that.
Hurrah!
Enjoy! Yeah, okay. Have fun being
Yeah,
insane.
Sorry, but you're not worth it to
Where
me
did
if I
everyone
ever
else
so-
go?
Victory
Is everyone
to
else still just
Dragonborn
strapped
again.
up there? Yeah, it looks like
Maybe I
it.
should just delete the Dragonborn list.
Opal, okay. New rock unlocked. You love to see it. Okay. Let's see. I guess we'll try going back up there if the lift is the way out. Yeah, that's why I'm like, can I please go in? Not to be a cheating McCheaterson, but... Oh, okay. Well, you know... That's the mist. How do I unlock the door? Here, let me just target this wall. Disable the wall. Never saw that one coming, huh? Did the robot drop anything? He dropped a cool rock, but that was about it. But, you know.
Oh, thank the gods you're alive. Unfortunately, I have dire news. As you were down there stirring
Hey,
the hornets,
everyone's
the Empire
Hey!
sent another contingent to
personal
do things
space.
their
Have you
way.
heard of it?
I guess the Empire was starting to feel
Personal-
some pain in their
personal
persons
space?
due to the suspended trade routes. Funny how coin can move mountains sometimes.
Personal space, please. You sound concerned. Oh, shit.
And what of it?
Whoopsie.
Were you able to find out what the dragon was planning?
Undead army, yay!
Gods, then it sounds like the dragon is getting everything it ever wished for today.
A dream
Now it
is
has
a
what it needs,
wish your
an army
heart
at its doorstep.
makes.
We
When
need
you're
to put an end
fast
to this as
asleep.
soon as possible, before it has the chance to turn the Imperial Legion soldiers against us.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
I fear you're the only one who can do this. Legion soldiers aren't trained. to
It's
fight
all up to
dragons.
me!
It's up to you now, Dragonborn. Let's go.
Okay.
Back to work, I guess.
Can I leave? Can I leave? Why are you naked? What? Can I go? Okay, well, I guess I can just, fast travel from here, I guess. You know, we're just gonna do that. We're just gonna do that. Shit. Alrighty. Here we go. This works. Whee! Look at this little carriage! Yay! Look at him! I wasn't sure where you would fight the dragon. Did we win? Not yet, but we're working on it. Actually, I don't have a player home or anything where I could drop shit off, can I? Oh wait, Stonehollow's over here. Lamau. We have not won yet, though. No, we have not won yet. But I think we at least know where we're going now, at least. We at least know what to do. I think the end is in sight, if nothing else. So, alright. Hey. Oh, Nor. Oh, Nor. Is she still naked? Oh my god. Whoa!
Already more.
Okay, well. Let's hit him with our best shot, I guess. Oh, he's only level 30! Oh, you are a baby. You are a little bitch boy. You are nothing to me.
Stay still.
We're gonna have to wait for him to land again, I think.
So much easier if you'd stop.
Yeah, he's already halfway down. Can't do shit.
Come to circle. No need to be shy.
Am I hitting him? Barely. Okay. Come on. Fight me like a man. Come on. There we go.
Stay still.
Trying not to accidentally hit anyone. Sorry.
This whole thing
Sorry.
would be so much easier if you'd stop squirming. As much as I enjoy fighting, I really need to work on my files, so
Okay.
could you just lie down and
I feel like Recorder's voice is louder than everyone else's. I'm not sure why. Wait, hold on.
Blood will do.
Chaos Wielder. Imperial armor. Imperial boots. Imperial helmet. Imperial bracers. Imperial shield. Okay, we don't need all of them. Hold on, because it did give us like a bunch of extra sets. Okay. Still over cucumbered, but that's alright. I think we just gotta go get our reward now then. Alright. Come here. Hey.
Is it dead? Is it finally over?
I think it's finally over. The dragon is dead.
I can hardly believe it. We've finally done it then. It's over.
Yay!
My Zenithar, you really are Dragonborn.
Damn right.
Well, I guess the next great challenge will be getting this town back on its feet.
I need to go home.
At least with a legion of Imperial soldiers here. we
Is
should
there
be
a
able
general
to get
store
that
here? Can
done.
I buy the bandoliers here?
Once the houses are rebuilt, we'll need to
Fucking
take
music
the
over
mines
him
and
talking.
mines back up and running again. But that's my
Yeah, sorry about the miners that died. I don't know what happened there.
You've done us justice this day. Mark my words.
Have you gone to the catacombs?
Don't
I have
worry,
not.
I haven't forgotten about the bounty on that dragon. Here, 10,000 gold.
Whippy!
As my gratitude.
I love 10,000 gold. I'm glad I was able to help.
The Red Wave should be sailing
Hi,
back to
Saku.
Skyrim soon, should you wish to return to the mainland.
I would very much wish to return to the mainland. So we can still go back and forth from Worm's Tooth, right? Because here's the thing is I'm down to go back and see other shit. It's just we have so cucumbered. We are so fucking cucumbered, dude.
Once again, thank you, Dragonborn, for the help. An act
You're
like this
welcome.
won't so easily be forgotten.
Cool. Alright. And we did get the cool weapon, right? Let me make sure I didn't accidentally grab more weapons I need. Bandoliers on dead Imperials or make them out of leather. And yes, you can use the boat for that. Okay. Crummy, thank you for the hydrate. Posture check. Shit. Alright, let's see. Yeah, I think I'm gonna be honest, we haven't used the drum or the lute like any time recently. So we can drop those. Yeah, we're still very much over cucumbered, but I think we are just gonna skedaddle back to the boat. So can I fast travel? No. Hold on, remove it. Okay, we need to get uncucumbered and stacked. Is there a general store here?
It's called
Hold on. Because if there is,
Still Standing.
or at least somewhere I can
There's a
craft
very
shit, I
clear
can
way,
probably
And it's about to be me.
find some leather or something. Does Longstride help at all now?
Yeah, sorry.
Oh shit. Okay, it works. Wait, what? Why is there battle music playing? What the fuck? Why are you naked? What the fuck? Okay. Let's see. What is this building? Is this just someone's house? That's just someone's house. Let's see. Oh, hey. I'm not a furry, but she's kind of hot. Anyway, did you give all your followers backpacks? I have not yet. That I do need to do.
Sorry, but
East Empire Company Trade House. I don't know. My page says Recorder has a robot companion for storage. I have not. I don't have that. I don't know what's going on with that. I might be missing something. So, I remember this building. Is there anywhere I can make shit? Is Inigo able to
want to
carry
talk?
anything else? Just per chance. Per chance. I need to trade some
What
stuff with
is
you.
yours
Yeah,
is
Lydia has a
mine.
backpack, but not everyone yet. Okay, I can give him. Oh, that's my backpack. Oh shit. Honestly, anything helps at this point. Yeah. Can't take that. Let's see.
If you need
I'm
anything
really
else,
struggling
just
here.
ask.
Yes, my lady?
The companion is summonable. Oh, how do I summon it? Hold on. Trade some
It's an
stuff
honor
with
to
you.
serve you.
to your heart's
Um,
maybe your neck? I'm feeling
okay, she can take that, and that was a big chunk of stuff. Can you take these are all different types of arrows. Yeah, okay.
Let's get going.
There's
then.
still some. What are you guys? Guys,
They are
stop,
better off
stop.
this way.
What is going on here?
Yes, my friend.
What happened?
Let us go.
Maybe you gotta ask Recorder about it. I'd love to, but Inigo just beat the shit out of her for some reason. Okay. Let's just leave.
I won't be showing you.
Can you
any
guys
mercy.
chill? Okay, we're leaving. Maybe they'll stop fighting once we leave. Huge giant backpack on top of the guards barracks and behind the locked part. Oh, where's the guards barracks? Cause that's the trade house. Cause that would be really useful actually. Oh, in Whiterun. Okay, not here. What is this?
That spell looks dangerous. Keep your distance.
What was this building? Guard barracks. There might be something in here. I don't know. I'm just looking around to see if there's like extra backpacks or something. Or even leather. Is there a way? Is there somewhere I can craft stuff? Because if I can craft the bandoliers, that's the jail. Okay, I don't want to go to jail. There's gotta be like a blacksmith or something around, right? Yeah, here. Let me actually grab this just in case. Because if I can just craft myself some pouches real quick, that might actually help me a whole fucking lot, honestly. Let's see. Like, there's gotta be, right? Here we go! Okay. Okay,
Good
come
thing
on.
the recorder and
Come
all
on.
the files are waterproof.
Okay, leather cape, leather
I can't say the
straps.
same for myself.
Here we go. Okay, so these are all the fancy bandoliers. How much do I need for... I don't want a cape. And the big backpacks. Ugh, the big backpacks are ingots. Shit. How much do I need for just regular? I need more leather. Okay. I don't have anything to make leather from. Honestly, this is really dramatic, but what time is it? Let me just loiter for 5 hours until the blacksmith comes out and I can buy leather from him. Oh shit. I'm really...
If there's anything you need forged, just let me know.
Thank you. Okay, what do you have for sale?
I bet I can forge you a better weapon.
Let's
than
see. Do you have the
whatever
bandoliers?
that is.
Takes a lot of leather. Yeah, that makes sense. Doesn't look like he has them. Here, just give me all the leather you have, actually. Money's not an issue. I have so much money, dude. And you know what? Give me all the strips you have, too. Fuck it. Yeah, sounds good. Then, do I have anything I could sell, actually, that I don't need that's already a display? I think all the stuff I'm keeping is a display. Okay.
Thanks for your business.
Alright, let's give this a shot. Alright, here we go. Let's see. Big bag. right. Back left. Back right. Front left. There we go. Okay. How much is that gonna do? Okay, let's see. Here we go. Bam, bam, bam. Aha! Okay, look. Oh, it may not work actually with this outfit. Hold on. Okay, you can kind of see them, right? There was one other, the one that I wanted was the vial. Let me see. Okay, this is gonna look silly, but like, hear me out. I want to see what it looks like if I can see all of them. They might be, some of them might be obscured by the cape. I need you to get naked for mod showing off purposes. Hold on. Well, maybe it is just the one. Oh no, she has one on the side, I think. Here, take the cape off real quick. Hold up. Oh, I guess it is just that one. Well, maybe they like add-ons to the backpack or something. I don't know. Either way, I'm not fucking complaining. We can move again. That's crazy. Now, where are your clothes? Hold on. Girl, where are your clothes? Here we go. Okay. I do love her new outfit. Her new outfit slays so fucking hard. I was kind of not sure about it, but the cape really brings it all together. I'm gonna be honest. So, that was all the leather he had, if I recall correctly. Because one other thing we didn't have that I kind of wanted to make was, what was it? The vial holder. The vial holders look really cool to me. But we'll wait. You know, we can move again. Okay, now that is all said and done. And we might explore Wormstooth again. We can always come back. Let's head back to Skyrim! Okay, we completed Wormstooth. Very cool. Very fun. Very sexy. But let's see what goes on. Let's see what's happening there. And now we can finally head back to the museum. So I think what we'll do, before we head back to the museum, is I am going to run an ad break real quick just because I never took a break at 1 hour. And I do want to see if I can go, I do need to go grab some new water real quick. So let me see if I can do that here because Twitch has been weird lately. Not stats. I don't want stats. Where's the button? I need to take a break, please. Can I take a break, please? It's the... What button is it? This one? There we go. Because it wasn't letting me manually run ad breaks earlier. So let me go take a break real quick. Drink some water. Also, if you've been watching since the beginning, get up, drink your water, get a snack, get some meds. All that. Or if you need meds. And I will be right back. Will it let me do this? Because Twitch was broken earlier. It may not let me. I think it's going to let me. So we're going to take a break. We'll be back. Okay. Give me 1 second. Meow, meow, meow. Where'd my fucking BRB screen go? Okay, well that works, I guess. I don't know where the fuck my, I don't know where the fuck my BRB screen went. I don't know why it's gone. Like, this is, I don't know what happened. That's my schedule. I don't know where it went. What the fuck? Where? What? What? Why is it gone? Hello? Hi, Grim. Welcome in, gamer. I'm just like, where's my BRB screen? BRB screen left to get milk? No! No! That's so fucked up. That's so... Why? Well, that's fucked up. I don't know. Okay, well. Alrighty then, I guess we'll get back to the game then. BRB screen. He was like a father to me. I don't know, speaking of dads, I need to text my dad and be like, I think I did check actually while we were on our break because I was curious. I was like, who's playing in the Super Bowl? And it's the 49ers and the Chiefs. I know that now. And I'm hoping for if anyone wanted the EB Games Super Bowl hot take, I want the 49ers to win because my dad likes the 49ers and I want him to be happy. Is your dad watching the ball? I think he is. I know my sister is. My sister texted me. My sister is only watching it for Taylor Swift. I know that, like, I know that for sure. Which, like, good on here. Hurry, let me turn my BGM off. I remember to do that, actually. Can you believe that? But I know my sister's only watching. Actually, no, I shouldn't say that. My sister does occasionally like watching football. The halftime show was decent. It was Dr. Dre, right? I was looking on Twitter just while I was getting my shit in order. But yeah, so I'm hoping the 49ers win because my dad used to live in San Francisco, so he's a big 49ers fan. I'm a Springfield, Missourian, so you know my answer to what I'm rooting for. That is valid. 10 ads? Oh, I'm sorry, Sable. We did just come back from a break, so hopefully there will be no more ads for a hot minute. I tried to run, usually I try to run 3 minutes of ads per hour because then it disables pre-rolls for an hour. But sometimes it doesn't let me do that, and it didn't let me do that at the beginning. So hopefully we have our big chunk of ads, and then we're good. So we are back in Skyrim, thankfully. We are kitted out. Vanya's looking good. I should have taken one more screenshot, honestly, in Wormstooth, but she's looking something fierce. Okay, she's looking good. But welcome in, gamers! So, and if you just got here, or if you have been here, welcome back! We just got back from our break. We have finished Wormstooth. We may head back there at some point in time, but I don't know. There might be some other stuff we may check out there in the past, but for now, we need to get the museum back in order. Because right now, if we go check out the museum's closed right now, right? Something is amiss. So I think what we're gonna do, we do now have our carry weight problem fixed. We're actually just gonna wait till nighttime and go back to the museum because we found this out right before we left the Wormstooth, right? Something's wrong with the museum, and they told us to come back at night to see what the fuck was up. So we're gonna wait till nightfall and see what's going on. Hey, I'm ready to go.
Excellent. Let's see what we can discover. I'll have a look around the main hall while you investigate the library.
All right.
Look for anything you think is out of place.
Okay. We're investigating what's going on in the museum. Alright, something is amiss, apparently. I'm gonna try not to give spoilers, in case you haven't seen these quests before. But this is an interesting quest. This one's fun. Alright, let's, something's amiss. You hear that? Oh, that's my friend. Okay. Oh! I forgot! I always forget about the achievement horn. Let's see, library. Oh, that's interesting. All the chairs. Yeah, this quest is really fun. I love this quest. Nothing seems amiss in the staff room. What about the preparation room? shit. I didn't like that. Didn't like that. Listen, if you saw the Shipwrecked stream, you know that I am... What was that? You know that I am not... I'm not a fan of... I like watching other people play horror games. I love horror YouTubers, but me? I'm a baby. This is the Night at the Museum quest. And, oh. What the fuck? What's going on? What is that? Book returns? Here, let me get some more light in here just in case. We need to search the library. It's certainly spooky in here. Don't think the books are supposed to be doing that. Wait, hold on. What did we just walk over? What is this? Inkwell? Okay. That's unique. Is that burned books? It looked like firewood almost. Oh. Yeah, this is all from Legacy of the Dragonborn. This is one of the Legacy of the Dragonborn quests that happens once you get to, I believe, 300 displays? Ooh, I don't like that. It's in the library. But yeah, this is why I love Legacy of the Dragonborn. It's not just a museum. There's like so much shit with it. Let's go in the, was that open before? I don't think it was.
I'm glad we're friends. I have
Lydia, why'd you have to say that during the sound design moment?
Did you feel that? It feels like hunger.
Search the rare books
By the way,
area.
isn't it
Recorder's
time for
always
yet?
hungry. I respect it. Wait, what is this? Letter from Niles. What's this? Hello, my dearest. I hope this letter finds you well. I miss you greatly and can hardly wait to bring you here to Solitude to show you what I have labored over for the past several months. It will be a place of greatness to be certain. I won't go into detail because I wish it to be a surprise when I'm able to bring you here. All I can say is that I miss you more with each passing day, but we must remain steadfast and patient. Soon my work will be complete and we'll be together again. Okay. Yeah, I remember, I live in Maryland, so I always got to go to DC a good amount, and I remember, we got to go to, the Smithsonian when Night of the Museum 2 came out, and it was really, really cool. I'm hoping I can go take another trip to DC soon, because I want to go back to the Air and Space Museum. I love airplanes. Where's my homie? Ugh. Stop doing that! I don't like it! I don't like it! I don't like it. Okay. E-card. We found something. Oh, he's over back here. I'm stupid. Yeah, I know. When me and Colo went, it was reservation only. We didn't know, though. But now we know for next time. But yeah, I'm hoping we can get a reservation and go once it gets nice again. That's my goal. I also want to go to Udvar Hazy. That's where I want to go, too. I love planes. I think planes are so fucking
There
cool.
certainly is an ethereal presence here.
Yeah. I found this. I
Interesting.
think the Air and Space Museum is still
This is a
under
personal
renovations.
letter
When I
from
checked the
Lord
website, I think it's still
Macnarian
under renovations, but you can still go in
Niles
now. You
Macnarian
just have
was
to,
the benefactor
they're at
who paid
limited
for
capacity,
and
so you have to like
oversaw
make a
construction
reservation on the
of
website.
original sections of the
I feel
building.
right at home in a museum.
It
Hell
looks as if the seal
yeah!
was broken a long time ago.
No, I
Perhaps
love going to
delivered and then
museums.
recovered by the original sender? Whatever its fate, the letter almost certainly has something to do with the ghostly presence around
Udvar
here.
Hazy is goat, also no
Let's keep looking
reservation.
above,
Yeah, it's a
but
little
do
bit
be
farther
careful.
for me,
I think
but
the
I
spirit
really
is
want to
starting
go.
come
I want to go
after
with my dad. My dad
Several
really wants to
weapons
take
fill up
me.
the walls right behind me, and many of the
One of the
dishes in
things I also
reception
want to go
hall fill
to
up the
at some
table
point
I'm
is
at
the
my feet.
the Delta
I'm a
Museum
bit
in
tired, to be
Atlanta.
honest.
I want to go see the Delta
Trying to attune
Museum.
my senses to an unknown specter is really taking its toll.
Also, if they ever reopen the
think I'm
Pan
gonna go
Am
have a lie down
experience,
in
I
the
want to do
staff
that
barracks
too.
for a couple
They used to
hours.
have this thing where it was like
I
it was
suggest you use one of the
expensive,
other beds and
but it
then
was
do a
basically
little
a
rest as
recreation of
well.
what flying
We're
was
gonna
like
need to stay
during
sharp.
like the golden age of flying before like before the Airline Deregulation Act and stuff like that. So it's basically like you're kind of just role playing as someone in the golden age of flying, and it's very cool. It's really cool. But they closed it due to COVID, so I hope they open it back up. But I don't know. All right, rest in the staff barracks. Surely nothing will happen when I go to bed. You lay down to rest and sleep for 2 hours. What?
Oh, good. You're awake. You have to come see this. Oh yes, the mannequins seem to have come to life on their own.
Oh, hey!
Armory have begun to wander
That's my
around,
steel mannequin!
while their compatriots have apparently barricaded themselves in from the other side. But no, this is actually what I wanted to show you. I can't explain it beyond saying there's definitely something around.
Oh!
They're trying to get our attention, but what exactly are they trying to say is beyond me. I'm gonna go take a look around the East exhibit halls. Why don't you search the Gallery of Natural Science?
Huh.
And I believe there's a storeroom under the staff barracks that might be worth searching.
Let's look at the storeroom first then. Okay. Let's see. Where is the storeroom? It says under the barracks. Where's the entrance to that?
Or a crossbow. Anything. As long as we can shoot down that damn eagle before it poops on everything.
Girl, what are you talking about? Under the staff barracks. The storeroom. Here we go. Uranus, Missouri, and Uranus Fudge Factory. You know, I'm gonna be honest, Bessie. I no hate. I'm not sure how I feel about the Uranus Fudge Factory. That's what they called me in college, actually. I'm sorry. Anyway, whee. Okay. I know that's spooky, but I kind of just wanted to become a bowling ball for a second. See if there's anything else here. Storage button. This appears to be a strange button of sorts, and only the last 3 letters can be translated as NMM. But it is clearly broken beyond repair, and without any hope of functioning properly. Best not to ask about it. NMM. I wonder what that could stand for. Surely not a Nexus mod manager. That'd be crazy. Let's see. There's the wine bottles, but I always forgot we have the fancy, like, wine cabinet. I need to fill these up, honestly, because these are really fucking cool. We have a regular wine rack, at least. Wait, why do I have skooma in the museum? I don't do drugs. That'd be crazy. I've never done a drug in my life. What's the other place you want us to check? I think it was the Gallery of Natural Science. Yeah. Let's do that. That tells me it's named a whole ass meme theme, or a whole ass theme. It does get worse. You know what? Good on them for embracing it, though. Hey. How you doing? Hi. Hey. You come here often? Okay. Hey. Oh, boobies. Why can't she come to life, huh? Why aren't you coming to life? Here we go. Oh. The girls are fighting. Hey, I worked really hard to get those displays. Stop trying to kill yourself.
That's it.
I worked really hard to get all these.
Who's still standing? Don't worry. There's a very clear winner.
Come on, here.
And it's about to be
So the fucking targeting is... Oh yeah, horse. Hi, horse. Are you a friend? I'll take that as a no. Okay. The horse is not a friend. Here, let me just stand on top here. There we go.
Yes,
Can I at least get my, like, the materials back? What?
That makes the fight that much more fun.
Where's that taking damage from? Okay, well, let's take all of these so I can... If they're broken, then maybe I'll be able to put them back at least. Oh, right, the Spriggan display. Perfect. Oh, shit. Okay. Thank you, Kill Move. Very cool. Is that all of them? I want to at least make sure we can put these back together if we need to. I don't know why the wolf had some gold on it, but alright. Oh, there's something in here. Oh, that letter conveniently sticking up in the water. Crazy. Oh, it's a book. Old journal. Progress on the, what does it say? On the new temple is moving along well. Labor issues are minimal, but supply problems plague me at every turn. You wouldn't think that quarrying stone could be any harder in the frozen north than anywhere else in Tamriel. But the hardened ground is in fact making it difficult to pry the larger stones free for breaking them down into blocks. We've exhausted most avenues here and are having some stone brought in from Markarth, though it will take some time. We did uncover a nice deposit of marble, though. Not substantial enough for construction, but I will save it for a statue, perhaps. The statue of Talos is completed already, so perhaps I can use the marble for a gift or dedication to the building. I'm told that the building will be named for us and called Macnarian Hall. A painting was commissioned, and as much as I hate sitting still for so long, I have obliged them, and a painting was made. It will be nice to have my portrait up to commemorate the great efforts here. Oh. But I have other plans of commemorating the achievement. Okay. Let's take that just in case, then. Now let's show Icard what we found. Because, maybe it's someone related to the museum that's, haunting us or something. That's probably what it is. It's that guy's haunting us. Let's take a look. Alright. Can I at least put up my cool paintings, like, since I'm over here? Cool. Can I just, do that real quick? Okay, yeah. Hey, at least I got some new paintings up. Yeah, V. Looks pretty cool. Alright. Icard. Where are you? Oh, he's in here. Okay. Hello. Let's see. Hopefully everything's normal in here. Oh yeah, it doesn't look too bad. Okay, at least this room's normal. Hey, bud. I found some stuff.
Huh. There certainly is an ethereal presence here.
You can say that again.
Interesting. Well, it's clear that we're dealing with the disquieted spirit of Lord Macnarian himself.
Lord Macahu?
Though I'm not exactly sure why he would be upset. The hall had always been named for him, prior to it being a museum.
Perhaps he feels forgotten?
That's
honestly, I'm a petty bitch. If people forgot about me, I would haunt them.
Do you recall ever seeing such a painting hanging in the museum?
Honestly, no. I have no idea who he is.
Maybe you should have a look around the museum and see if you can find if it's been stashed away in here.
I think I did see a painting stashed away in the storeroom.
On display, it would appease the ghosts and he would stop harassing people.
Okay. Alright, let's see. That's where I would first check, honestly. Is the what's it called? I think we almost have all the shrines, by the way. I think we're just missing a few. It looks like we're only missing one, so that's cool. But anyway, let's go back to the storeroom because I think I saw a painting tucked away over there. What's this? Oh, that's the little moon and star display. Okay, that's cool. Mage Bane, Blackhand's Dagger, book from Kagrenar. Oh. Didn't we do Moon and Star? Why don't I have any of these? Maybe I do and I just haven't sorted through them yet. That could be possible. Hi, Nick. Welcome in, gamer. Let me see. Hopefully I didn't accidentally trash some stuff. Because I know sometimes it doesn't say it's a display item. And then it is. So hopefully we didn't trash those. Because I'm trying to... I really do want to try and 100% this without having to manually add stuff as much as possible. Helgen Guard armor. Black class claw. Let's see. What's this? Oh, here's the Wormstooth display. Actually, since I'm here, is this the Wormstooth stuff? No. Eagle Eye. Thought there would be Wormstooth stuff over here. Hope I didn't miss it. Doesn't sound familiar though, so I don't know. Maybe they go somewhere else. Hopefully. Because again, I really didn't want to miss stuff. Can I have a cookie? Sure. They're in my cabinet. Go get one. Help yourself. We did buy cookies, and I am on a diet, but my whole thing is I'm trying not to just like completely eliminate stuff that I like, and it's been going pretty well. I've lost a few pounds so far, and like some of it is like I'm not losing as much like weight as I wanted, but my inches are going down. You know what I mean? Like I'm losing, like there were clothes that I like couldn't wear before, I'm able to wear again, so that's cool. But I'm trying to like think of it instead of being like super restrictive. I'm trying to like just build healthier habits, you know? So like we bought cookies, but I purposely put them on the top shelf where I can't reach them. Because my thought is, like, if I really want one, then I'll, like, do the extra effort to go get it. Rather than... Oh, wrong button. Rather than just, like, gorge myself on them. So, I've been doing good with it so far. But I'm too small to reach the high shelves. So that's why I put all the stuff I'm not supposed to eat. guess it's not in here. It might be in Arian's office. That would be my bet. We're looking for a painting. Because there's a guy haunting the museum, which is annoying because I have like 500 fucking displays to put up. Spread amongst my followers. And there's a guy haunting the museum, which like really petty, honestly, because he's haunting it because we don't have a painting of him up. So we're trying to find the painting so we can put it up. And hopefully he'll stop being whiny. That's our museum safe. Wait, what? Is it in here? Did I miss it? I guess I missed it. Where is it? I was just in here. Hello? Oh. Oh, whoopsie. There we go. Okay. It was kind of tucked away, I guess, so it does make sense that I missed that. It wasn't in my face, you know? Okay. Let's see. Hello, Ecard. Where is he? Is he in here? Yeah, he should be. I found the painting. Can we put it up and put all this nonsense to rest? Because I have shit I need to do, Icard. I'm busy. I need my museum back. Oh, I'm glad you can be calm and relaxed during all this. Soon you'll need to have a less thick model made. I think I still am going to keep my same models because, like, I don't know. It's something that's, like, important to me, you know? And I've had a lot of people tell me, like, oh my gosh, I've never seen, like, a VTuber model with my body type before. So even if my body type changes, if I can make people feel, like, represented and happy, then I want to keep doing that. So even if I get a little less thick, I think I'm still going to keep my models, you know? And besides, even if I get, like, super skinny, like, on the slim chance, no pun intended, that happens, I like thick thighs, personally. So, you know, thick thighs save lives. And if the thick thighs make people happy, then who am I to take them away? Now, I guess the reception hall is where all the food was. Yeah. So, right here, I guess? There we go. Okay, now put it back.
Great. And now we rest.
Okay, hopefully I'll be fine in the morning.
I suspect all this unpleasantness will be over.
God, I fucking
But
hope
we should
so.
spend the night here just to make sure there's nothing else the spirit is looking for.
Alright. Time for bed. Good night, iron armor mannequin. Good night, steel armor mannequin. Good night, friends. There we go. Hopefully that'll all be fixed now, though. Because I don't feel like doing more shit. Alright, we sleep for 2 hours. Oh my god! Everything's on fire. What the fuck? Oh my god! Oh, he's fucking dead. Oh shit. Oh fuck. Well, no more bedtime. Oh fuck. Well, I can't get in there. Probably the safe house is off limits too. He was like a father to me. I know we only knew him for like an hour. Maybe less than that. Probably less than that. But he was like a father to all of us. Oh! Hey, you're not my kids. I stopped for a second. I was like, are they my friends? Why does he take like no damage, by the way? The fuck? Oh, fuck yeah, yeah. You tell him. You tell him. Defend your. Oh, I don't like that. What's that green stuff? Yeah, defend your mother. Thank you. Oh, I don't like that. What's going on over here? Oh, I don't. Oh, my museum. Hey, when did I? What? Wait a second. Some displays are here and some aren't. Like, there's no way. No, yeah, this ain't right. I do not. can I take it? Like, I was about to say, like, her ass does not have all the dragon masks and all the claws. It looks really cool when it's completed, though. Yeah, like this one, some of them are normal, but like, I know I don't have all that. I don't know what that is, but it's really fucking cool. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I hate that everything's gone to shit and we're in a hellfire, but it's cool seeing all the, oh, whew, okay. Something ain't right. The coast was sick of y'all taking so long, man. Oh. Hermaeus Mora, is that you? Dad? Huh? Oh, I don't like that. From the Alakir quest in Whiterun? Okay, I'll have to do that then. What the fuck? Black Horse Courier. Ruled out. Okay. Oh, here we go. Word from High Rock has come that Lady Aurelia Macnarian was found dead on the 4th of Evening Star following a tragic fire that broke out in the east wing of the Macnarian estate. The Magistrate of Wayrest has investigated that the cause of the fire has not been released to the public, though they say that foul play has not been ruled out. Lady Aurelia was the wife of wealthy philanthropist Lord Niles Macnarian. Oh, maybe it's her that haunting us. And when we put up the photo of when we put up the photo, she was pissed. Is that your Skyrim models, lore? Not quite, but he was like a father to me. I don't know. I kind of want to know how my IRL dad would react to that. Like, if I told him that Hermaeus Mora was my model's dad. I feel like he'd think it's really cool, because then he'd be like, am I a big, like, skeleton? Or, not skeleton. Am I a big blob monster? That's cool. You know. But no, not quite. But we do make a pact together. But more on that later. Best known for his work in building and establishing various temples dedicated to the 9 divines all across Tamriel. His recent work has taken him to Skyrim, where he has been hard at work overseeing the construction of a new temple to Talos based in Solitude. The news of his dear wife's demise came as quite a shock to him. Let me see. Sorry, I lost my place for a second. And an ill-fated night of drunken mourning. Ooh. He either stumbled or threw himself off the cliffs of the building of the... Oh my god, okay. His body was unfortunately never found. The project, however, saw itself through to completion in new weeks, and the new temple was dedicated and named Macnarian Hall in their memory. Okay, well, whoopsie. I won't go into details on what the pact is yet, because I don't want to give spoilers, but... Unfortunately, that's the thing, is like... I feel like I'm the pinnacle of the VTuber versus the VTuber lore, because my VTuber lore I put a lot of effort into writing, and it's like kind of sad and serious in some ways. I'm really excited for my 3D model like official debut, so we can like see the lore and everything. But then I myself as a streamer am just like, but I love to write. I'm just really silly. Yeah, we need to go back to the barracks. That's right. Okay. Anything fun over here? I mean, that's where they said go back to, right? Oh no, search for more clues about that Niles' death. Let's see. Because it said he threw himself off a cliff. Was it an accident? I mean, it also said he was drunk, so maybe checking the storeroom could be a good idea? Oh, no, we don't have that option. What rooms can we go into? Oh, fantastic. Does his wife have a portrait maybe? That could be a good place to look. Let's go over here, actually. Let's see. You install the... Okay, can't go in there. Here's the storeroom. Oh, great. None of my business. We're not gonna toggle the display prep station because I feel like that could fuck some things up. Also, I don't know where the fuck my followers are. Oh no, there's Lydia. Okay. We can go in the exhibit hall. Or the east exhibit hall. Can we? Maybe not. Let's see. It looks like a lot of stuff is blocked off. Oof, not going in the Hall of Natural Science. What? Oh. I can't move, by the way. I don't like that. Hey! Okay. I received news today of my dear Aurelia's death. Oh, this is the journal from the husband. How can the divines treat me so? Have I not toiled tirelessly to use my fortunes and my skills to glorify their names? Am I deserving of such blatant disregard and malice? I just cannot bear this pain. Even as I write these words, I know that my heart died with you, my dear wife. I will press onward, though, somehow, and finish this building. And dedicate to you as is my most beautiful work, befitting of you and will be my last. I just had the commission drawn up yesterday for a marble statue to be built in your likeness and came to an agreement with the sculptor. Paying the deposit to start the work and had not the chance to deliver the official agreement and balance owed. But it seems now that it will be a memorial of you rather than a tribute. Oh, how I wanted you to see this place and to see your statue adorn the entrance. All I can hope now is that you will gaze down upon me from the seat of the divines and smile. Oh, hi, Leo. Oh, that's okay. I'm just glad you're here now. The museum is on fire and is being haunted. Yay! But we did finish Wormstooth. So there's that, you know. Yeah, I suppose a drink is in order to drown my sorrows, and perhaps the cold air and a walk out back will aid to clear my thoughts. Then I will deliver the commission and agreement and pay first thing in the morning. You know, I'm gonna laugh my ass off if we have this whole, like, heartfelt quest about this, like, guy. Oh, shit.
Good. You're awake.
Oh, it was a nightmare. You're alive.
All
Holy
right,
fuck.
my friend. When I woke up, you were gone from the barracks and
The
lying
skeleton.
unconscious out here on the floor.
Whoopsie. I had a really bad nightmare.
Well, I should say so, and it had a good solid hold on you, to be sure. I suspect it was no mere nightmare, but Magnarian himself.
Fucking recorder just humming in the background still. Well, he's very deranged and disturbed. Just like me,
Feelings
for
and
real,
thoughts
for
of
real.
The dead often come to the living as very disturbed. We believe it's only because they lack the means to fully make their wills known. Did you discover anything?
Oddly enough, the things I found are very much real.
Oh, this is terrible. I had heard that Lord Magnarian had
Deranged?
met
You
a
being
rather
goofy?
unfortunate
Yeah,
fate
just
after
a
his
little
wife passed
silly.
away. But I didn't know the circumstances until now. And by the look of this journal, he was in great grief right before his death. I must have plummeted to his death from the cliff out back. If you're up to it, I suggest looking around for any clues.
Okay.
I seriously doubt that there will be any out there, as this has all happened decades ago, but you never know. And our work is obviously not finished with the placing of the painting.
I guess
I
not.
saw that there is a way to access the alley between the Blue Palace and the museum on the upper balcony. Here's a ladder I found amongst the clutter that the ghosts scattered about. Just be careful out back. We wouldn't want you to share in Magnarian's fate.
Okay. Well, let's head out. Is the museum like back to
What
normal?
an interesting place this building is. A lot of history here.
Looks like a lot of it's back. That's not, though. I'm not gonna do anything with all my shit until the museum is fully functional again. Because right now it's still kind of fucky-wucky, for lack of a better term. It's a little fucky-wucky. Alright, let's see. Oh, do I
This
not
place
go out
certainly can put one on edge all alone at night.
here? I guess we don't go out here. Okay. I think I have to go through the safe house, maybe? Oh, what? Where do I put the ladder then? It's like it's between the Blue Palace and the. I think I know where he's talking about. Right? Climb down from the upper balcony and take a look. Yeah. I think I can get there from here with the parkouring. Here, let me just hoist myself up over there. Come on, Vanya. There you go. I know you don't work out, but you can do it. Come on, girly pop. There you go. There you go. Parkour! And by parkour, I mean climbing a ladder. Parkour! You can do it, girly! There we go. The windows do look really pretty at this time of night. I really like the kind of like amber glow they have. I wish we had like slightly better lighting, low-key. And then, well, actually, hold on. I want to try something. I keep saying I want to use photo mode, and then I can never figure it out. So let me see. Hold on, because these lights are really pretty. I know that there's something haunting the museum. God damn it! Okay, well, no photo, I guess. No photo. Alright, it's fine, it's fine. Just wanted to take a pretty picture, but, you know, whatever. Okay, now where are we putting that ladder? It's, somewhere over here, right? Because the Blue Palace is over there. Not sure where they want me to put the ladder.
Crazy when I fight, but hey, it's good exercise in action.
You do get a little crazy when you fight, girly. And by crazy, I mean you scare me. Place the ladder and climb down. Yeah, so it should be... Oh, am I too high up? Yeah, because that's the... Should be... Here we go. Alright, is that the way I was supposed to do it? I guess so. Okay. Oh. Oh, this is cool.
This turns the whole town on its head.
Can I... Okay. Everyone fucking... Everyone's squishing into the tiny little alleyway. Oh my god. Okay, so it's this way. And then... Okay. Find the commission contract. Oh, okay. I don't know why it didn't work the first time. The Skyrim? Where are we going? I ain't got a fucking clue. Oh shit. Oh, Worm's Tooth is up ahead. Wait, that's actually kind of cool that we can see that from here. Oh, wow. Look at that view. Is this a good screenshot moment? I think it is. Hold on. It's time for a... Oh, that's the thumbnail. That's the fucking thumbnail. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Look at her flowing in the wind. Gorgeous. Okay, anyway. Dead person note. Yay! Burgess Olfsted of Hafengar agrees to sculpt one life-size statue in the likeness of Lady Aurelia Macnarian using a provided oil painting as reference and honed from a natural marble provided by the patron. Niles Macnarian for the sum of 8,000 septums. The amount of 4,000 septums has been paid in advance. Okay. Cool. Well, that's a cool, I guess. No! Now is not the time for a dragon attack! No, 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 no! Are you fucking serious? Oh my god, okay, this is... Nope! Not for me! Not for me. No, no, we're not. We're not doing that. Absolutely not. No, no, no. Hey, gamers. Alright, let's go. Let's go. I'm not fighting a dragon in that close of quarters. I'll fight dragons other places, but not when I'm fucking in the ass crack of a mountain. No. No, thank you. Sorry. I've had my fill of dragon fights for the day. Alright. So, good to know a card's not dead, though. That's always cool. It's always fun when your priest friend is alive. That certainly helps. Where is he? The card? Is he outside? So the dragon's out there. I'm gonna laugh. It'd be really funny if he was. Looks like he's just, okay, hey, bud.
Quite an interesting place this building is. A lot of history here.
Yeah, I found this.
Amazing. To think that this small bit of parchment has been wedged between the rocks, dangling from the cliffs out there all this time, being ravaged by the winds and the rain and the snow year after year, and it still persisted.
Yeah?
Perhaps it was the will of Niles Macnarian that preserved it, so we might take action on it.
So we need to do the statue?
Burgess.
Yeah, Stone Cutter by Catless Farm. Got it.
I take it to him and see what you can find out.
Find the statue. Got it. Anyway, let's deal with this. Because I could see that being potentially problematic. You guys wanna... We're gonna do something about that? Let's do something about that. I think that would be... Where's he landing? Oh my god. Okay. Come on. Come on. Where's he going? He's like went through the fucking Bard's College. There he is. Okay. Alright, we're getting him slowly. Okay. He should come down soon. Let me see. Oh, that was way off. He's a third down nearly. Yeah, we should be able to get him down soon. Almost. Okay. Is he landing? Where'd he go? Here, we'll follow Lydia. God, that hammer looks so fucking cool. I'll kill you myself. There we go. Alright, cool. You'll love to see it. Blood Dragon Heart. Wait, that's kind of cool, actually. Okay. Not to worry, citizen. Everything is fine. Alright, now we need to find Morgaine Ulfstead. So this is up by Catless Farm? Alright, well, it looks like it won't let me do that right now. Catless Farm shouldn't be too far, right? Oh, I don't have the marker for it. No. Okay. We'll just walk there, just so I can get the marker then. Alright, anyway, you guys have a good day. Bye. I got better things to do. Oh, and there's still these dead people here. Great. We should really do something about the dead people. That's also my old backpack from when I died here. But come on, guys, let's wrap up with the dead people. Can we get them somewhere else? Thank you. Let's move them out of the way a little bit, shall we? Let's see. All right, let's go. All right. God, it's so nice having those bandoliers. I'm gonna have to make the rest of them. I wanted to be kitted out, but those are really helpful now that our carrying capacity is at over 500. That's gonna be nice. It is still nice having all our followers too. Don't get me wrong, but you know, having more the merriers, right? All right, come here. Whee! All right, excuse me, Mr. Goat. Excuse me. Thank you. I have business I must attend to. So, dude.
Can I help you with something?
Do you know anything about this?
Contract. What's this? Oh dear, this is my great-great-grandfather's name. He was a sculptor and a stone cutter by trade. Passed down through the family to me as well. So after 3 generations, are you finally here to make good on this and collect the statue?
Better late than never.
Well, yes. It's been gathering dust in our cellar for ages. None of us had the heart to sell it since great-great-grandfather apparently didn't feel right about selling it because it was half paid for already.
Well, I have the other 4,000.
Absolutely. I'll get some hands and we'll cart it on up there by tomorrow.
Sounds good. All right, well, I guess we'll check back in the museum tomorrow then. So what I want to do, actually, we're just going to sleep in the museum. Let's go to just the safe house then. And then we'll start kind of assembling the junk in our trunk. And we might actually have some leather in storage to make some of our other stuff, you know. So we'll see. Well, we might actually be able to make some of the bandoliers, right? It'll take like a day, but what time is it? Is there anything else I need to do right now? Hell yeah, we're spending a night in the museum. I do have some other player homes I want to check out. Don't get me wrong, but right now we're here, you know. So we may as well sleep here. I don't have anything. I'm gonna be honest, I don't have anything I want to do, like, immediately right now. You know what I mean? So, let's see. I do want to find the hemomancy spells before we end stream. I know there's, like, certain places you can find them or buy them from people. I just need to double check the mod page. Are we still... Okay, the mannequins are still hanging out. Can I access my safe house, though? Is that blocked off now?
You could could use a bit more art on these walls, I think.
Well, I'm looking for it, bro. Paintings aren't a dime a dozen. I'm finding them. I'm putting them up as I find them, okay? There's a lore-friendly Res Evil mod for Skyrim called the Evil Mansion. Ooh, very cool. Even though I haven't played Resident Evil, I love big fucking houses. So I might have to check that out. Alright, let's see. Home sweet home.
Welcome to Solitude, the center of trade and modernity.
Let's
On
see
the
if I
right
actually have any
side, you'll
gold in
see our
here for my
prize
sell
assets.
pile.
The chopping block.
$1,000. Not bad. Okay. Let's see if there's any leather in here. Leathercraft supply. We have some bear pelts, so we can definitely make that into leather, and we have some leather already. Let's see. Can we make any more pouches? I would like to make some pouches. Let's see. We did right, back right, front left. Which ones did we not do? I think we did all these. Let me check, because I want to make sure I get all of them, low-key. I want to be kitted out, okay? We did right, back right, front left. So we still have a lot to do. Okay. We did right, back left, front left, right. I don't think we did these yet. Let me make sure. Side left, side right. They're not like, here, can I do that by like alphabetical order? Yeah. Oh, I have to pick one. Okay. They're all by 50 points, so I guess, okay, that one's a new one. Oh, it's belt bag. What does that change? Belt pouch. Yeah, I can't have multiple. I have to pick one. That one I can have. Okay, now we're at 645. Okay. Having an extra pouch. I can give that one to my follower then. And then we'll do another vial belt, vial holder. Yeah. Let's see. Dark bandolier. Ooh, edgy bandolier. Ooh. Okay, so let's do the vial holders. And then we'll vial belt. Okay, now we're out of shit. Make some more leather. Because I think those displays are going to come back, so might as well. Let me put my new vial holders on them. Make sure that doesn't take away anything. I want to make sure I can stack them. Yep. Let's see. We just got the belt, I think. $6.95 now on our carry weight. Oh, look at her. Look at her potion. She's kitted up, dude. Non-enchant version, you can enchant yourself and make broken items. Ooh. So I suggest you don't do that. Same with capes. Okay. Well, I don't want to be... Do you mean broken, like positive? Like it goes... It's fucking cracked? Or do you mean broken bad? I don't want to break anything. Okay. Do I have any more leather? What is that? Bear pelt? Yeah, we can do that real quick. Let me make sure which one. OP? Oh, I want to make OP shit. Hell yeah. Okay, let's see. Vial holder. Okay, well, ooh, the vial holders aren't as good, so. Let's see. 620. I like the way the vial holders look, though. We'll hold off for now. I think 645 isn't bad at all. But for now, who's holding the bulk of our stuff? Where's Lydia? Hey, Lydia? Lydia, where'd you go? Where'd Lydia go? Hello? Hey, Lydia? There you go.
I'm right behind you.
Hey, I got something for you.
I'll be glad to help you.
She phasing through someone's tits. Fantastic. But welcome in, gamers! Let me see. I do have... Where is it? These for you. So you can have this. There you go. We'll see if she equips it. But
I will protect
that's
you with
okay.
my life.
Okay. So now we're at 645 carry weight. So that's like a lot. When you go to areas, may I highlight that there's collectibles nearby? Hell yeah, absolutely. I may not drop everything for it, but it's always good to know, you know? How much money do I have? I have 20,000 gold. So let's actually, while we're here, what time is it in game? 9 a.m. Okay, well, we need to go back tomorrow. So we got some time to kill, I guess. Let's actually upgrade my fate card collection. Make sure I have all those put away. Bam, bam, bam. Any other fate cards? Doesn't look it. Okay, I'm excited to see how many displays we have. And then... I love hoarding money! Okay, and then... How much gold do we have? Oh, we have so much money. We have so much fucking money. Okay. All the jewelry. Don't need that. Bram, 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 bram. Okay. Let's see. No other jewelry, but money. Okay, 10K sounds fine. We'll keep 10K on us. Yeah. Oh yeah. Fill with money. Did you get the ghost helmet after the museum after Dark Quest? We haven't technically finished it yet. We're still waiting for the museum to open up again. So we have to check back tomorrow. So I guess we'll just, you know what? She looks so good with the vial holder, dude. She's been tired, EP. Let's, actually, hold on. Something I can do, I want to give her, what is her adventure attack? How do I set armor? Because that actually might be cool if she could be in her, like, I kind of want to set up if I can have her, like, automatically change into her, her noble dress and stuff when she's walking around the museum. I think that would be cool. But for now, let's, do we have anything here? No. Eep. You know what? She's had a rough day. Why don't you sleep for 24 hours? 19 hours. She's had a rough day. I don't know how much longer I'm gonna be streaming. I definitely wanna check out some of the Hemomancy stuff. What else did I say? And I want to finish the museum quest and unload my toad. I have so much shit right now from Worm's Tooth. But I am down for that for next stream. We might start that next stream. We'll have to see how I'm feeling. But, because I honestly don't know how I'm feeling. I'm at that point where I could either go for 2 more hours, or I could just stop immediately. It all depends on how my body's feeling. We'll have to see what's going on. Did you get the loot in the Bard's College? I did not. I did not yet. So, sleep up, Vanya. She's had a rough few days. Wandering around Worm's Tooth aimlessly. She deserves to sleep. So I'll wake her up at like 8 a.m. Or, there we go, 8 a.m. Wake up! No, wake up! Wake up! Wake up! Stop! There we go. Alright. Return to the museum. Rise and shine, Cupcake. Okay. Let's go, and let's actually, not have this open. For just anyone to see. Why don't we... Yeah, we'll close that for now. Alright, let's head back to the museum. Whee! And see what the fuck is up. Alright. Here we go. Alright, I do love... Oh, she's so pretty. I love her so much. There's a few characters in here that I have from like, last playthroughs where I kind of rushed making them, and they're, like, characters that are important to me that I kind of want to remake just for fun. I'm not going to do their playthrough again, you know? But just to, like, make them look nicer. Like, Severin, I just couldn't get his eyes right. I couldn't get his face the way I wanted it to. So I honestly might just remake him for shits and giggles, low-key. Just so I can have better pictures of him for memes and stuff, you know? And for references for artists. So let me see... Where are you? Yeah, it says return. Oh, here it is.
Well, my friend.
I buzzed it. Maybe Severin's just ugly.
Exactly
no, he's my sweet, soft beta boy. I love him.
I found last night that
he's my flower child. I love him.
Admiring the displays and taking in the splendor of the building Niles worked so hard on.
Hi, Rainbow. Welcome in, gamer.
You may see them around from time to time in the late hours of the night, but I wouldn't expect any further problems.
Okay. We'll just see them around. That's fine, I guess.
The spirits of the deceased get the rest they deserve, and the rest of us can manage to get a good night's sleep as well. Take care.
All right. So since we now can hold 600 pounds total, let's actually go through my followers inventory and just start taking stuff. How's Super Bowl Skyrim going? I'm having a nice night. It's been going really well. We finished Worm's Tooth. We made a shit ton of bandoliers, so now we can carry a bunch of stuff.
I'm actually the top in my class for junk carrying.
And we're about to donate a fuck ton of shit to the museum. So let's see what she got. This is a display. Why do you have 2 ancient Nord boots? Well, you can keep one for fun. This is a display. 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 This I can disenchant. This I can disenchant. That's a display. I already have one of these already. That's a display. 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 Okay. The rest is yours. 620.
Alright.
Alright, we'll grab just a few more things from Inigo.
Enjoys this place. Are we here for
let's
business?
see.
Okay, let us see what we have.
Let's see. And then I would like to have Eye Gouger back. Thank you. What's wrong with the vines? It's like, it's artsy, you know? We'll take the bow back. And I think that's it for now. And then we'll come back. All right, come back in, guys. All right, I'm eager to see how many displays we're gonna... Oh! The game crashed! You love to see it. What happened? All right, now's my obligatory. Who's winning in the Super Bowl? What's happening? Did they win? Is it done yet? Is it done yet? Did they win? Who won? Who won? Is it still going? Did the Chiefs win, or is it still going? Did Beyonce show a boob yet? Did she? Almost into the third quarter. I do remember a little bit about football. I used to, not because I watched football ever, but I used to play in marching band when I was in high school, which I feel like is not at all surprising. The real winner is all of chat. You're so right, though. Third quarter of showing the boob. You know what? I would watch more football if there was more boobs. If the Chiefs win, I'm saying some bad words. We'll see. I don't know where my cell phone is. I need to check to see if my dad has said anything, because I know my dad and my sister are watching. But my mom asked me, she's like, do you want to come over for the Super Bowl and watch it together? And I was like, Mom, I love you, but there is nothing in the world coming in between me and Skyrim Sunday. Hi, OG. Welcome, gamer. Hardcore Broncos. Yeah, I don't know anything about, like, football teams. I know a lot about my hometown team because people in my hometown are very passionate about it. I'm playing Assassin's Creed. I've never played any of the Assassin's Creed games. I need to, honestly, I feel like I would like them. Because I like historical fiction a lot, so I need to try them. Who to watch more of boobs? I think that can be applied to a lot of media. Like, you know what we need? Can I make I know this is a bad idea, but hear me out. I think we need topless cooking competitions. I know it's a bad idea, right? Because there's a lot of risk involved there. What if you cut your titty? You know, I've seen Chopped. It gets crazy in there. Right? But, like, I think it'd be fun. I think it'd be fun, okay? There's a lot of them. You need to understand the whole story of it. Yeah, I don't know if those would be games I would stream, but I feel like I'd definitely enjoy them on my own, you know? The teams my family follows and hates, which is commonly the same thing, but I don't know anything about their names. Yeah, honestly, the only time I ever watched a lot of sports, I didn't even watch real sports. I used to be really into League esports.
Not at all.
I'm just cruising through this because we did this already. It just broke. But I used to be into League esports a lot. I watched esports the most in 2014, 2015. I used to be a really big TSM fan. And I'm kind of getting back into esports just because, like, even though I don't play, like, competitive League anymore, I used to be really into Comp League. Also, how many displays do we have? We have 312 displays, so let's see what that number is after all this. I really like the camaraderie of it, you know? I really like the... That's the thing is, even though I don't personally like sports, sometimes I wish I enjoyed them for, like, the community aspect of it. You know what I mean? Like, being able to,
Hey there, Dragon Boy.
being able to, like,
Ready
enjoy
for
watching
battle,
games with people and getting together
Sure,
and
let me
eating
take some of
food,
that
you
weight.
know? I like that kind of energy, you know? My thing is just, I don't really like sports, so it's like, I like the idea of it, but I still probably wouldn't go out my way to do it. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense. But, yeah, I got back into League esports a little bit when Worlds happened. Me and my friends all watched Worlds together. And it was really, really fun, honestly. We all stayed up till super late because Worlds was in Korea. So we all were, like, up at, like, 4 in the morning to watch it. But it was fun. All right, let's see how many we got. And we're still not done. We still have 2 more follower inventories to go through. Okay, 47 new displays already. We're at 359. Splattered with frying oil while cooking topless. Burn your fucking nipple off. Yeah, that's the thing is it's like, even though it's one of those things where, like, even though I don't get it, I respect it. You know what I mean? I'm never, oh, I pressed the wrong button. I'm never gonna, like, disrespect someone. Like, here's the thing is, I know I say this as a joke a lot of times, but truly, if you are having fun and not, yeah, why can't I see your inventory? Hold on, where is it? There it goes. It didn't, like, load for a second. Even if I don't get it, right? Not everything is for me. If you're having fun and it's not hurting anybody, live your best life, you know? Do what makes you happy. I don't see anything wrong with that, you know? I may not get it, but again, not everything's for me. And that's okay, you know? Live your best life. Do what makes you happy. Life's too short to, like, that's the thing. I feel like life's too short to judge what other people enjoy. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense. So, let's see. Yeah, I am gonna have to take your dragon mask away. Sorry, buddy. You look so pretty without it, though. You don't need it. You don't need it.
If you need anything anything else.
Alright, where's Lydia? Because Lydia has a shit ton of my stuff. Where is she? I'll make fun of you for something even if I enjoy it. You know what? Fair enough. Either make fun of everything or make fun of nothing. But yeah, that's the thing is it's like, I think I've been seeing a lot of, I'm on a lot of different sides of TikTok. And this might be controversial. I'm just gonna say right now, I don't really like Taylor Swift as a person. I don't agree with everything she's doing. But I'm on Japanese TikTok because I'm trying to learn Japanese. And a lot of times when you're learning a language, a great way to do it is through memes and silly little videos, you know? And the Eras Tour was in Tokyo recently. And like, even though I don't get it, even though I don't like Taylor Swift, Taylor Swift doesn't really go to Japan a whole lot. So seeing like how happy everyone was, you know, and how like the camaraderie amongst people, you know, it was really cute, honestly. Like, is it for me? No, but it was, I find enjoyment in seeing people happy. I know that's probably cringe, you know, but like, I don't know. It just makes me happy to see other people happy, you know? All right, I do think we have gotten everything. We went from 312 displays to 370. So that's like over 50 displays in one quest. We still have a good amount of stuff, so I'm just double checking to make sure we didn't miss anything. A lot of stuff is just enchanting stuff. Let's see if we can make anything with all the fragments we have, because we have a shit ton of fragments. We don't have any keystone. Well, we have some keystones. Let me see. Do we have any supplies? Let's grab all our supplies and see if we can make something. Because we have a good amount of Dwemer stuff right now. There we go. Morrowind Dwemer Bowl. Dwemer Goblet. So these are all displays. Alright. And we gained an archaeology perk point. Yay. I don't remember how to use those, but let's do this again. And then let's see if there's any replicas we can make. Let's see. We need an iron ingot. We have the dagger. We just put the dagger in there. We didn't make the replica. We need firewood, clay, glass, lots of glass. Well, this isn't a display, so why do I care? The gore duster. I thought I put gore duster in there already. I feel like I remember that. 2 ebony ingot, 2 glass, 3 bone meal, 2 clay. It says, I could have sworn I displayed Nettlebane, but whatever. Ebony, we need a lot of ebony ingots. And we need a lot of clay. So, we'll keep a lookout for those. But I think right now what we'll do, actually, let me see. Can I search my supplies? Let me see. Building supplies maybe for clay? We have some clay. Here, let me grab an iron ingot and like 6 clay. I think we only needed like 6. See if we can make anything with that. We don't, and we have some glass too. So let's grab a few pieces of glass and whatever we don't use, we'll put some stuff in. So we have that already. Yeah, none of these are displays. We need firewood. I really thought I had, do I have firewood? I should. Although firewood would be under building supplies, right? Guess not. I'll look at misc maybe? No, okay. We'll store all supplies then. But let's check out the dining hall. So let's see what's going on under the painting, under the hood. Ah, there it is. The ghost helm, very cool. All right, and we'll display that real quick. So we are almost at 400 displays. Hey! Sendar's hammer, cool.
From a Dunmer trader, and it turned out to be something rather impressive.
Nice.
Here, have a look and place it on display if you like.
Okay, cool. All right, so that's more artifacts. Let's see, and we'll actually see if he has anything else for us once we display these few things. 373, awesome. What are you making all the displays for? Pretty much, it'll be more stuff to go around the museum. So like, some of this is like, let me actually, because we have some. I do want to change my EMB a little bit because my EMB is really dark. And I like realistic lighting, but like, sometimes I feel like it's too dark. But we have a lot of stuff for different quests over here, different areas, different Daedric quests. But a lot of these, so if you go through here, you can see there's certain armor pieces on display, like the Dragonbone Mail is on display, Troll's Bane is on display, the Claw is on display. One of the Dragon Masks should be up there. Didn't we have one of them? Maybe it was a different dragon mask he had. Let me see. Guess not, because I know Maybe it's somewhere else. Maybe it's in a different spot. A lot of these we haven't gotten yet. But, like, this one is almost, like, entirely complete. You know? But it's a lot of different displays, and the people will come through, and if they like our museum, they'll donate to it. There's even more stuff. My favorite, I do want to check out the armory, because we have a lot more stuff in the armory. But you can see that ghost helmet we just got, that's now over here. All our necklaces and fancy jewelry that we find goes in here. Lots of different stuff goes in here, which is really cool. I really like the lighting over there, actually. That's really pretty. But I do want to see... Let me see. Oh, yeah, and then we can find paintings and display them over here as well. I do want to see the armory real quick, and I want to see the Hall of Natural Science, because we did kill a lot of shit, so we might be able to make some new natural science displays as well and get up to 375 displays. I'm not sure what happens when you get to 400, so what are we still missing? Is everything back? Yeah, it looks like all our displays are back, so that's cool. Yeah, our wolf plaque, our elk plaque. Let's see, saber cat display. We still need a saber cat tooth and a saber cat pelt, so that we gotta watch out for. Let's see, Horker display. I think we should be able to. Yeah, there he is. And then we have our mud crab display. So this one's all done. Cool. What else do we need over here? Frostbite spider. We have those over there. And then this one, do we have? Yay! Okay, we got the cars display. Have you got many donations? Yeah, we've gotten a good amount of donations. And actually, you can walk around, and sometimes there'll be patrons, and they'll come up to you, and they'll be like, wow, this museum is so cool. We also have security, too.
This better be good.
And sometimes they're mean to you, but that's okay. Do we have the goat display yet? No. So that one we still need. Let's see, what about over here? Hagraven and Spriggan, we have those. And then these are legendary dragons, which we haven't found quite yet, but that's okay. We'll get them eventually. But some of the funky rocks we found are over here now, so our rock collection is also growing, so that's really cool. So let's see if Arian has anything else for us, but Hall of Natural Science is looking good.
How can I help?
Let's see. I have dealt with the ghost haunting the museum.
Ah, yes. That was a bit of unsettling business.
Yeah, you can say that again.
I kept being awakened by strange voices in the museum and found that the pages of my books by my bed would be turning on their own, and decided to call the aid of the priest of Arche.
Yeah, I saw him die in my dream. It was crazy.
Thank you for looking into it.
Yeah, no problem.
Also, I'm to understand that you paid out of pocket for the statue.
I did do that because I love the museum so much.
I'll reimburse you for that.
Oh shit! Thanks. Tell me about. Yeah, I don't think he has anything new. Lucian pays you to go with you. Oh, I forgot. We gotta find him. Okay. So one thing I want to check, and I'm gonna need to alt tab for this real quick. God, she's so fucking pretty. I love her. One thing I want to check real quick is where can we find the hemomancy spells? Because I would like to find those real quick and just kind of see. Let me go back to the mod page. Hemomancy. Okay. Because this is like Vanya's whole character thing, and spoilers for my book, but we're only on chapter 2, so you might forget. But her whole thing is she's into forbidden magic, and she's doing some fucked up blood magic. Because in the world where my VTuber lore exists, because my fantasy novel and my VTuber lore are in the same universe, the most like worst thing you can do in magic is necromancy, is fuck with the dead and fuck with the, you know, the cycle of like life and death. Whereas with her doing blood magic, they see that as worse. And you know, when you tell a teenager to not do something, they're gonna want to do it more. And sometimes that applies to drugs and sex, but for her it applies to unholy blood magic. So you know, she's just a girl. But I do want to see, where do I find these? I'm looking on the mod page real quick. Where can I find them? It is a hemomancy. Okay. In Rorikstead, in the Dark Brotherhood Sanctuary, or in the Vampire Castle. So it looks like we're taking a little field trip to Rorikstead. Because the whole thing with her is I didn't want her to become a vampire. Right? I wanted to see how much I could do without her becoming a vampire, because I didn't want her to have to worry about like the day and night cycles. I didn't want to have to worry about I wanted her to be able to hide it more easily. I thought fucking with the dead was necro. I mean, you can have a little bit of both, you know. Just gotta get creative. For legal reasons, that's a joke. Rosa Roundbottom is there? Who the fuck is Rosa Roundbottom? Hold on. Are you telling me I can get bitches and... Can I go to Wormstooth from there? Oh, shit, I can. That's actually really cool. I can get bitches and do blood magic? Oh, bitches and blood magic. Hell yeah. Alright, where is Rorikstead? 'Cause I never fucking remember where it is. All I remember from Rorikstead is just the... Rorikstead. I'm from Rorikstead. We do need to go back to a bone altar, actually. Let's see. Left of Whiterun. Okay, that makes sense. Let's see. Have we not been to fucking Rorikstead? Her ass has not... Oh, no, it's over here. Okay. I was about to say, I'm like, damn, her ass has not been to Rorikstead. Yeah, so I don't need to go to a bone altar, but apparently I have to best the people that killed me there, so... that sounds like a problem for later, Evie. But for now, blood magic. Right, but that's the whole thing, the way we kind of explained it in-game, is she's starting off with ice magic, because ice magic, frost magic, that's like the gateway drug. So let's see kind of how far we can travel before nightfall. Let's head out here, but I think this will be really cool. I'm excited to see what it looks like, and I'll be honest, oh shit. Oh wait, we need that, Saber Cat. Oh, I need you dead so bad. Okay, hold up. I need you dead. Fuck yeah. Okay, we need, what, one pelt, one eye, or is it one pelt, one claw? Pelt tooth. Okay, I think that'll actually get us our display. So when we head back to the museum, we'll see if we can get that, because I would like that a lot, actually. All right, back to Longstride. Anything else? Okay, cool. But we'll see if we find anything cool along the way, actually, because this is a, there's some cool shit over here. Like, what's this? Ooh-woo? Ooh-woo, what's this? Oh, fuck yeah, books! I love books. Okay, Shrine of Zenithar. Okay. I'm still gonna get the shrine just so that way. Yeah, see, we got the museum display for it, right? So I think we now have all the shrines, so that's cool. So hey, nothing crazy, but I got a book and I got 2 displays out of it. So you know, that's why you always check things, you know. Yeah, we're just gonna keep heading straight on. I still can't believe. Oh, I got my achievement for getting all the gods, getting all the shrines. Hell yeah. Okay. Rosa is one of the sexy follower mods like Misty Sky. Oh boy. Oh boy. I can't wait till we find Misty Sky in the Jasper playthrough. They're gonna be best friends. Oh shit. Can someone else deal with that? Cause I'll be honest, I don't want to. You guys have fun. I'm gonna keep walking. You guys have fun with that. Leave me alone. Oh my god. Leave me alone. What's your damage? Like, leave me alone. Okay. We did not get the soul, unfortunately, but that's okay. Alright. Back to Longstriden. Okay. But we are starting to get fairly powerful. We're still not big boy yet, but I think this is, I did check the other day. I think this is the oh, wait, what the fuck? Hello? Wait, will you take damage from Ice Spike? No, you will not. Okay, is it only physical? Ooh! The fucking reverb on the, ooh! The Unquiet Undead. Wait, what's this? Upon reading Golden Hills Plantation, I discovered that the rumors were true. This place is indeed haunted by the restless dead. What is driving the spirits of these simple farmers to such rage? And what sort of tragedy caused their untimely deaths? I should search the farm to find out more. Okay. Well, where's the guy? Where's the... Did he leave anything behind, or is it just goo? Okay, I just see got turned into goo. I don't see a body. Well, let's see, what's going on over there? Is this it? Alright, we're here. Might as well, right? Okay, hopefully it won't be a clusterfuck as soon as I get in. Okay. Nothing looks out of the ordinary so far. Any good books? Doesn't look like it. No good books? I'm not interested. It's behind door number 1. Mead, you love to see it. Nothing is more beautiful than a pressure plate with an arrow just as a bad guy is going into it. You know what? You're right. Oh, wait, shit. Backpacks. Hey, backpacks, backpacks. Come get your backpacks. Do you remember that video of the fucking, the mog commercial with the fucking back to school? Do you remember that? Well, it was like, boots and pants and boots and pants. I'm probably gonna seem like a crazy person, but that's okay. All right, here, have a backpack. There you go. Do you want a backpack?
I'm here for you.
Have a backpack. Okay. I think everyone else has a backpack. I think Lydia has a backpack already. Let's see. Where is it? There we go. Trade
What
something.
is yours is mine.
Let's not go that far. Okay, backpack. You want a thief back? Let's give you the thief backpack. Yeah. These are pretty much the same. I'll give it to someone else because I'm pretty sure Lydia has one already. I can't see shit in here, by the way, so let's do that real quick. Lots of backpacks though. Let's see what else is here. Let's see. Any good books? No. What's this? Erval's journal. Today is the first day of our new lives. I bought a sizable piece of land with a rundown farmhouse for dirt cheap just outside of Rorikstead. No one else wanted it on account of how rocky it is. Too many boulders, the other men said. But Jonquil and I have strong backs and willing hearts. We'll get those boulders out and we'll turn this fertile land into a plantation that they could only dream of. This will be the perfect place for the, what does it say? To raise our little Rin. Oh, okay. Like the Vocaloid? Long day. Hand hurts almost too much to write. Farmhouse is repaired and the first plants are in the ground. Feels good. We did it. Jonquil kissed me tonight like she did when we were married. When we were first married. Her eyes are calling me. Aww. We harvested our first crops today. It wasn't much, but it's a start. When I watched the sun's rays first break over the horizon on our fields today, I knew what to name this place. Golden Hills Plantation, after Akatosh's glorious light. Aww, this is really sweet. I sure hope nothing bad happens to them. Soon it will be an inheritance worthy of our son. Just a bit longer, I know. My heart is troubled. Rin is fast growing into a strapping young boy. Though he spends too much time playing with that wooden sword of his and dreaming of running off to join the Legion. But my dear wife Jonquil, her strangeness worries me. Oh. Sometimes she'll disappear for hours at a time and then turn up in the house as though she'd been there all along. I often see her carrying a basket full of strange dark flowers, and she won't tell me what they are or where she got them. And last winter, when Rin fell ill with fever, Jonquil produced a small black bottle from who knows where and poured who knows what down his throat. Only a few minutes later, the fever was gone. Jonquil refused to tell me what was in the bottle, or where she got it. I was so happy that she saved our little boy, of course, but, Mara preserved me. I'm afraid that my wife is a Daedra worshiper or a witch. Oopsie. I mean, nobody's perfect. Like, come on, we all have flaws, you know. She may be a Daedra worshiper, you know, maybe he's like vegetarian or something. I'm kidding. I'm sorry. But nobody's perfect, right? You have to accept your lover's flaws. No hate to the vegetarians in the chat. You're very brave. I could never do it. You're so fucking brave. Rin has been missing for 3 days. Oh, shit. My little boy. I've searched everywhere, but there's no trace of him. Even his favorite toy sword is missing. What if wolves got him? Or brigands snatched him away? Jonquil has been watching me. I don't like the look in her eyes, and she hasn't cried at all. What kind of mother doesn't cry when her child is missing? Yeah, this is kind of sus. What if? I dare not even put the thought to paper. It's unthinkable. I found it. I found Jonquil's secret. This is the place she's been disappearing to. The potions, the plants, the books. Such evil and unnatural things I found down there. Divines help me. My wife is a witch. I didn't want to open her foul books, but I had to know. I had to. Deadly Nightshade. That's what the plant is called. The one I saw her sneaking around with. She grows it everywhere in this hidden place. Oh! She must have poisoned my son. I've seen the sneer on her face, the laughter in her eyes as she watched me tearing apart the farm looking for him. She was mocking me. I've never felt such rage like this. I'm shaking with it, sweating with it. I know exactly what I've got to do. My son's spirit whispers to me, demanding vengeance. I keep an axe by the door to deal with hunting wild animals. I'll do it for dealing with a witch as well. Damn, that's crazy. Damn, okay. I guess we gotta find the hidden laboratory. It must be in here somewhere, right? Let's see. It's gotta be in here. It's probably underground somewhere? Or it might be somewhere else on the plantation. I'm gonna just check around one more time. I feel like it's probably not in the house though. That would be too obvious. Oh, wait, oh, here we go. It is in the house. Aha. Oh shit! Oh, fuck. Whoa, 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 whoa. Did you guys kill it already? Jesus Christ. That was fast. Damn. Holy shit. On a limbic. Yeah, you had the whole kit and caboodle down here, didn't you? Okay. Oh, here's her journal. Yeah, let's hear both sides of the story. And steal a dead woman's shit while we're at it. Let's see. Any other books for the library? Doesn't look like it. Glowing mushroom. Ooh. Canis root, nightshade. Here, let's make some potions real quick and then we can sell them. I love money. Let's see what she had to say. Urval wants so badly to make a go at being farmers, so here we are with our own rocky plot of land and a ruined old farmhouse with a leaky roof. It's not what I dreamed of, but we'll make the most of it. At least the soil's good, even if it's full of boulders. I'll be able to get a nice garden going with all the ingredients I need for my potions. The income from that should get us through the first winter, if nothing else. I found a secret room walled off in the basement. It will do nicely for my alchemy lab. I love my husband dearly, but he can be a pig-headed dolt when it comes to the gentle magics of the earth. If it weren't for my potions, little Rin would have perished last winter from a fever. Our plantation is doing well enough, but Urval's eyes are getting bigger than his purse. He was talking of purchasing a wagon recently, like we don't sometimes struggle to put food on the table. A wagon, honestly. I've seen the ugly looks he gives my potions and herbs, but where else are we going to get the money for all the things he buys? Next thing you know, he'll be trying to buy another farm. Oh, so maybe she wasn't the bad guy after all. Rin's gone missing. We've looked everywhere, but we can't find him. His little wooden sword is missing too. Gods preserve me. I hope he hasn't run off. He doesn't realize how dangerous it is out there on the tundra. It's been 3 days now. My little boy is still gone. I don't like how Urval is looking at me. His eyes are too dark, too still, like a frozen lake. I think I even heard him muttering about getting what I deserve. Could he have? No, I dare not even put the thought to paper. He did it. He must have. That monster killed my son. And now he looks at me with those hate-filled eyes and a mocking smirk. He despises my alchemical art so much that he took my son from me to punish me. I've never brewed poison before, but I know how it's done. I know how to bottle death. A few drops in his meat and my child will be avenged. It is done. The gods will damn me, but they will damn him more for the murder of a child. Rin, I'm sorry. I wish I could have. Wait, I hear some... Huh! So I wonder what happened there. Because she had... There's the axe. So I guess the husband wasn't dead. I guess her poison didn't work then. But we don't see his body anywhere. So I'm assuming... Yeah, what happened to Rin? Because what I'm assuming then is maybe the husband didn't die. You know what I'm thinking? Is this a base game vanilla quest? I asked because this is feels too good and intriguing for it to be an actual Bethesda quest. I'm sorry. Yeah, I guess it's okay. Well, let's see. The only way I really bring peace to this fears is to discover what really happened to Rin. Yeah, I have no fucking idea. Let's look in here. You know what I'm willing to bet, though? It very well could have been an accident. Pitchfork. What? I don't know what that was. I must have just accidentally stepped on something. Wood chopping block. Let's see. I don't see anything nearby. For over 12 hours between Ellie and Essie. Yeah, I don't remember this. I feel like I would remember this if it was vanilla. Let's see. It's burning. You know, the army's been here. There's nothing in the farm itself, it looks. Let's look outside the house one more time. So I have no idea. How dare you disrespect Daddy Todd's? Listen, all I'm saying is Bethesda needs to hire more actual writers. Once I learned that Bethesda doesn't actually hire writers, it made a lot of things make sense. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm saying. Do I love I love Skyrim, but it's not a perfect game, you know? And I've said this before and I'll say it again. If I didn't have mods, I would have stopped playing Skyrim years ago. I am kind of like, when we do the 3D model debut, I am tempted to like play vanilla Skyrim just to see how much I fucking hate it. Wait, here. Rin's journal. Aha! Here we go. Ma and Pa are fighting again. They're always fighting these days. Ma hates how obsessed Pa is with cows and the price of wheat and all that boring stuff. Pa doesn't like Ma's flowers or her bottles of goopy stuff. I don't like the goopy stuff either, but it does make me feel better when I'm sick. I guess it's okay. I can't wait till I'm old enough to join the Legion and get away from the farm. Oh yeah, there's a Legion camp like right over there, I think. Or at least it looks like there is. I've been practicing every day with my sword. I think I'm good enough to be a captain or even a general. But Pa doesn't want me to join the Legion because he says I'll have to take over the farm when I'm old enough. Well, maybe he doesn't want to do that. Ma doesn't want me to go because it's too dangerous. That's about the only thing they agree on. I bet if I defeated a bandit or killed a wolf or something, that would show them. Then they would have to let me join up with the Legion. Pa always tells me to stay away from the old well. The one towards the tall monument out by the tree sitting on a rock. Wolves like to hunt out there, he says. So that's where I'll go. I'll kill a wolf. I'll kill a wolf and bring home its head and prove that I'm a man and not a baby. Oh, no. I'm tired of listening to Mom and Pa yell at each other. Oh, baby. Oh, no, honey. Oh, no. Well, here. It's really dark outside. Yeah, let's actually, well, it's not that dark, but let's, is there a bed I can sleep in here, actually? Kind of annoying if it won't let me. Here, let's sleep here for a little bit just to get through the night because I don't want to keep searching in the dark. I don't like doing stuff in the dark in Skyrim, at least not until I fix my EMB. But let's sleep through the night a little bit. I didn't think I'd get so like I want to know how this ends. I like this quest. I know it's just like tiny side quest, but I'm intrigued. Okay, that's all I can say. I'm intrigued. I want to know how it ends. I want to know what happened to Rin. The things are not looking good for Rin right now, but I still want to know, you know? So, let's head outside. Good morning, Skyrim! And let's see what the fuck is up. Alright, beautiful morning. I don't know, I am really excited to play Skyrim in VR, because I've said this before and I'll say it again. One of the things I, like, loved about Skyrim was being able to just kind of, like, get super involved in the game, if that makes sense, you know? Get really, like, disassociative with it. I know that sounds bad, but like I like being able to just fully immerse myself into it, and I'm kind of hoping VR will be really fun with that. Plus with the 3D model you'll get to see me awkwardly stumble through VR. Yeah, where is the old well? It must be nearby. Oh shit. Holy fuck. Decree. What does that decree say? In the name of the Emperor Titus Mede II, the soldier has been sentenced to death for fleeing from the field of battle. Oh, shit! Damn. Execution hood. So that must have been, yeah, prisoner, Stormcloak. Damn, that's crazy. Oh, and there's another one over there. Has a bot that causes a Todd Howard emote to appear. I love that, though. I love the Todd Howard memes. Damn. I don't know if this was intentional, you know, just because it's like, you know, this could be two separate mods adding this, but something about him wanting to go off and join the Imperial Army and then the Imperial soldiers being hanged with the camp right over there. That's crazy. Like, I don't know if that's intentional. It makes a lot of sense if it is, but that's crazy, dude. That's wild. Oh, there's a dragon over there. Cool. So the old well can't be too far then. Where? I don't think I see it, but I was also looking in the dark last time, so let's try it again, and we'll, because there's no marking on my map of where the old well is, but the kid can't have gone far, right? I don't see, wait, Urval. Oh, that's Urval. Wait, hold up. Oh, damn. Torn page. Here we go. I feel strange, hot and cold all at once. My hand shakes, hard to write. So dizzy. I think I've been poisoned. Seems she got the better of me after all. Okay, so the poison just took longer to take effect then. I'm looking for the old well for the Unquiet Dead quest. I want to find out what happened. Yeah, where did he say it was? Did I take Rin's journal? I don't think I did. No, I didn't. That's okay. East? Okay, so... Okay, over here then. So from where you stand. So this way then. Let's see. On the hill. Okay. I think I know where you mean. Yeah, I don't know why I'm so involved. That's north? What? But I was looking... Oh, whoopsie. Oh, okay. Listen, when you say east, I see right, okay? I look in the map and I'm like, okay, I'm this way. I'm pointing this way, so I have to go that way. But I guess I was wrong. That's okay. All right, here, someone else deal with this. I don't want to deal with this right now. So east would be, okay. Southeast, there we go. All right, let's take a look. Probably over here then. Map always points north. Listen, I'm looking at where my character, I was thinking in where my character was standing, but you know, it happens. Let's see, Old Well. Old Well. You guys are so mean to me. Feels like I can't even like fuck up once and you guys are on my ass. Jesus. Okay. Let's see. Too far east. It's gotta be around here somewhere. Love that dragon ominously chilling in the distance. Let's see. Cause I see the little waterfall over here. That was a pretty little easy little area. Let me see. Yeah, cause there's Bleak Falls Barrow over there, isn't it? Yeah. Let's see. We'll just kind of scour the hills a little bit. See the bonfire over there. And then the Imperial camp. Let me look up high, and that might help me. Oh, another saber cat. Awkward. Yeah, you guys. Why don't you guys deal with that? You got it. You're fine. You're fine. You guys are big boys. I really don't know why Recorder's voice is so much louder than the rest of them. Okay. So let's see. Southeast. So it should be around here then, shouldn't it? Yeah. So let's see. We'll keep going in this direction. Wrong button. Whoopsie. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, because we're not too far from Rorikstead. Oh, there's a giant over there. Don't see the well yet, though. I know you said a hill, but it's not in Rorikstead, is it? No. Let's check over here. I want to know what happened to him. I know he's probably just dead, but like, I want to know. I need my ending to the story. Okay, south. Okay, so down this way. Making sure that's not south. This way. That's not south either. This way. There we go. Okay. I know there was a, oh, it is up top. Okay, I'm not wearing my glasses. That's right. I was literally just about to be like, I wish there was like a compass up top. No, I'm not wearing my glasses, dude. So I didn't see the little S. I had to like squint and I was like, oh, okay. There it is. Yeah, I don't have, it's hard to see. I wish I could change the colors on that low key because I can't really wear my glasses when I stream just because it messes with my eye tracking when I do that. So a lot of times I just don't wear my glasses when I stream just because it can mess with stuff. So it's hard to see stuff like that. Let's see. Should be down here then. It's by the bone altar maybe? I don't know if I want to follow just the road though. Let's see. Is this it over here? Let's see. This looks more like a... Yeah, this is a monument. This ain't a shrine. This is a monument. Let's see. Yeah, I don't see a well anywhere. Oh, is that it? Hold on. It's kind of far, but... Could be? I don't know. Bro, stop yelling at me! It's not the ADHD, there's a chat delay! Okay, that's the Shrine of Zenithar we found, so, okay, whatever. We'll just head to Rorikstead, it's not important. Oh my god, Jesus Christ, there's saber cats everywhere, dude. Are you guys gonna fight it? Or are you just gonna stare at me? God damn, okay. Alright, here we go. Southeast of it on the hill, okay. There we go. Hi, Cola. Let's see. The 49ers are winning? Hell yeah, my dad will be happy then. My dad will be happy. I thought the Chiefs were... Oh, they won? I thought the Chiefs were in the lead last time we checked. Is it over already? It might be over already. Yeah, it's like 10 o'clock. Oh, shit. I walked right past it. To be fair, I was thinking of something like up. Oh, fuck. Damn. Well, yeah, shit. I mean, like, I knew he was dead, but it still bums me out. I don't know, I was kind of hoping for, like... I knew it'd be a stretch, but I was hoping for, like, he ran off and was raised by wolves or, like, something crazy like that. I was kind of hoping for that. Let's see. Alright, let's... There we go. Oh, wait. Holy shit. Hey.
Hi there.
Hi. Okay. Your family can rest in peace now.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
For all your hard work.
What do you give me? Oh, okay. Well, now we have the plantation, I guess. That's cool. We can live there now. Not that I wanna, but it's nice to have the option. Let's go on to... Let's see, 9 seconds left. Oh, so like 5 minutes. You may be in the Rorikstead Inn. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's what we'll do is we'll head over to Rorikstead now. See if we can pick up Lucian, and then we will find some blood magic. Yay. Okay. Let's go over here, and then we will see what happens. All right. I still can't believe we haven't been to Rorikstead yet. I'm gonna be honest. Let's head over here. Cause I think he's in the inn. And it was one of the... Oh my gosh, where did it say we could... Let's go to the inn first and find Lucian. But it might have been... I can't remember who they said we could get it from in Rorikstead. Have a follower work as a manager? Interesting. I know there's another housing mod I was looking at for it. That has something similar. It was more like a castle. So I'm probably not going to do it with that, but it'll be cool with other stuff. Is Lucian in here? Let's see. Let's see him.
Do you have news of our quarry?
No. No Twink here. Dang, that's okay. So, who do we need to look for in whatchamacallit to, see if we can have the blood magic. That is my last thing I want to do today. Let me see. I'm gonna double check just to make sure I'm on the right track. Because I know it's in Rorikstead, I just want to know where it is. Let's see. Juan Manette. Ah, the old man in Rorikstead. And then it says in parentheses, now you know how they're growing their crops so fast. You know what? Good for them. Good for them. Human blood as a fertilizer. So, let's see. Maybe he'll be over here. Man, what? So he should be like an old guy. Well, no, you look particularly old. Is this guy? No, that's Halvar. There was an old-looking guy in the inn, so maybe we'll check there and see if we can find him. There's also a little farm over there, so let's check that actually too. Let's see. Sir, I would like to do some blood magic.
Those little girls of yours are growing like... If you've got some business in Rorikstead,
that's what I need to talk to.
By speaking to Juan.
Where is he? Where is Juan?
Good day.
Let's see.
And just like weeds, they're nothing but...
He might be in the inn then, if he's like important. We'll check some of the other houses too and see if he has his own house. Because I was pretty sure I saw an old guy there. Because that's like literally what they listed him as, like old guy. So I'm like, okay. Let's see. Here we go.
If you're thinking of setting up to farm, you picked the right place.
Look, something here seems bloody off. Okay. I'm not here to judge you. I just want to learn.
They say brawl fights at an inn only create chaos.
How's it going?
See,
I say it
what happened? Is he gonna give them to me?
Peace and prosperity are all the good folk of Rorikstead.
What do you got for sale?
So
Let's see
you
if he
wish to
has them
master
for
the arcane
sale.
arts.
Here we go. All right. Blood boil, blood dagger. Let's start. I don't know if we can afford to buy all of them because we did put some of our gold away. Blood drain sounds good. Blood is power sounds good. Blood spells are stronger. Blood mark sounds fun. Hemomancy. Revive gargoyle. Oh, sanguine ring. Yeah. Transfusion. Yeah. Oh, maybe we can buy all of that. I would like to boil someone's blood to death. That sounds cool. You know what? Actually, I think we can buy all of these. Okay, perfect. All right. Let's take a look. And now, what category are these gonna be in? Destruction, maybe? No. Oh, I haven't learned them yet, Lamau. Okay, let's see. Here we go. Not that. There we go. And here we go. I think we've got them all. There we go. Alright, let's see. Super Bowl goes to overtime? Goddamn. Alright, looks like these are... What does it say? Conjuration? Destruction. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So, it does say now... Let's see. I don't see... How do we... Where is the blood tree? Because it said it was a separate tree, I believe? Let me see. Destruction... Although it might be in the destruction tree. That might be how it works. Let's see. It's a spell to access it. Okay, let me see. Because I know I saw that. I didn't know if that was like giving me a power, or if it was a separate spell. I thought it was just something to learn it. Untide. Let's see. Transfusion. Lesser blood drain. Might be a power. Blood magic dash. Blood magic hemomancy. Here we go. There we go. Ooh! This looks cool. Hemophilia. Use blood. It costs 100 blood magic points. So it looks like the more we use it, the more... How do I exit out of this is the real question. How do I leave? How do I leave the tree? Do I just do this again? There we go. Okay.
Welcome.
So,
Let me know if you want it.
I think what we're going to have to do, right? Because here's the thing with blood magic is we are going to have to change how we're respecing. Because we've been just dumping points into Magicka right now. Blood magic uses health as its casting pool, which makes sense, right? So what we're going to have to start doing is putting more points into health, which I think will be fine. But the more we use blood magic, the more we gain from it, the more powerful we get. So I think what would be easiest to start with is, let's see, deal 7 points of damage with a double chance to deal double damage. So I think that one will be, transfusion will be a good one. We really didn't need face sculpt. That's just, I think that's literally just show race menu, but like, why not? And then this is drain health. So I think we'll start with using mostly drain health. Ooh. Ah, thank you, gamer. Thank you for the... I totally forgot I had alerts on for that. But thank you, Sidelion. That's very sweet of you. I appreciate that. Thank you, gamer. I'll have to check what it is in a second, but thank you. I really appreciate that. Let me see. Yeah, I think we'll do drain health and transfusion also sounds fun. It was drain health and what did I say I want to do? Blood dagger also sounds really cool. I bullied you with suggestions, so I felt bad. Here's the thing is I usually don't mind backseating. Just don't shout at me. And I know it's probably like doesn't feel that way, but on my side when people start typing in caps, it feels like people are shouting at me and it stresses me out. So like as long as you don't like shout at me and you're nice about it, I don't like when people blame my ADHD because it makes me feel really stupid and it makes me just not want to stream. But as long as you're like nice about it, just something to remember is there's a delay on stream, right? When you type things, I don't see them immediately, right? So keep that in mind. I'm not like purposely that dense. It's just I don't see things right away. There's at minimum a 5 to 10 second delay, right? So it might be a little bit longer. Okay, 2 seconds, right? So even though that's not a lot for how fast my brain moves, it is a lot, right? So just keep that in mind and please just be patient with me. That's all I ask. I just don't like feeling bad when I stream because I know I like to be silly and goof around, but I don't like feeling stupid. So anyway though, but thank you for the gift. I appreciate it. I think we're gonna go blood dagger sounds cool. Blood drain sounds cool. And then I think we're also just gonna need drain health to kind of balance it all out. So this is gonna be fun. Now, I know I said I was end stream after this, but I kind of want to test these bad boys out. So let's kill some shit. And then we will end stream. Let's see. Where can I go kill shit? God damn it, I toggled my virginity again. We're not planting crops. I don't feel like doing that right now. Where can I go kill some shit? Let's see. You know what? Let me look back at my quest. Do I have anything that's just like, just a murder thing? Sure I do. You know what? Here's what we'll do. Let's just kind of run around. What is something I haven't cleared out yet? Let's clear out. There's something I needed to do, I thought. I want to do murder. You know what, actually? There was a giant nearby, wasn't there? Yeah, I know what we're going to do. I know what we're going to do. We're going giant hunting. And don't think we don't know how to weed them out. So let's see, where is he? Because I knew he was by the farm. And there was also a dragon floating around somewhere. He probably flew off. But I did see him. So let's see. Let me make sure we'll do drain health. We definitely want. And let's do blood drain and drain health. So let me read these again. Just make sure I'm not getting them confused. Blood drain is deal damage and tell me. Okay, so that's an AoE. So that's cool. And then this is absorb. So, well, I do like how they look different, honestly. Just because that's gonna help me differentiate. Because if they were all just like red, I would have been like, oh, I don't know what that is. I don't know what's going on there. So let's see. Let's go on and we'll do this. What is that actually over there? Hold on. I don't know what that is. Maybe that's another opportunity for me to kill shit. Let's see. Usually I'm not just like, yippee, violence, but I have new spells that I want to play with, so yippee, violence. Alright, if nothing else, because there's probably a, there he is. There he is. Okay. I know that my followers are going to probably kill him in like 2 seconds, but if Lydia goes flying, it's going to be funny. So, you know, let's see. Alright, drain health, blood drain. So this is the suck. Alright. Hold, that takes a lot of my health. Holy shit! Okay, we're still alive. Barely. Oh, I can't move. I can't move. Why can't I move? Why can't I move? What the fuck was that? I got a museum display, but it what was that? He didn't do anything. Okay, Lydia, thank you, Lydia. Okay, holy fuck. What happened? What's that debuff? Hold on. Fear the undead, infirm, lethargic, blood price. Oh. Am I healing? Okay, I'm healing now. Okay, so I think it's like Vanya's fucking anemic, I guess. There's a decent range on this. Wow!
I mean, bye.
Good enough for Gordon. Good enough. Think you died and bugs out the other things, but the Nemesis mod resets you? Okay, cool. So that is very fun. Okay, you love to see it. All right, it looks like I'm not like over cucumbered, am I? No. It looks like I'm still, oh, I had caps on accident. I don't know how the fuck I enabled that, but, huh. Well, that's gonna be fun. So we'll explore more of these next time. I'm just seeing if there's anything good here. It would be cool if there was a giant display in the museum, but it doesn't look like there is. But I think we are going to end things here for today. So thank you so much for hanging out with me on Superb Owl Skyrim Sunday. Let me get to my little end screen thing. And we will take a look. We will wrap up. Okay, there. Oh shit! You can see my dislocated wrist. Don't look at that. Don't look at that. No one needs to know. But gamers, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. I hope you had fun. We will be streaming again very soon we will be back on Wednesday with more Shipwrecked. Like, I know, like I said, please, if you're interested in ARGs, consider watching the VOD on YouTube. I know it's 5 hours long, but I timestamped it. But it's very, very cool, honestly. I really am psyched to keep going with that game. I hope we finish it on Wednesday with the gang, but we may not. But we're gonna definitely do that on Wednesday. Friday, we'll finally be back to Cyberpunk, and then I'll be Skyrim Sunday again. Wow! So, thank you so much for hanging out. Like I said, all my VODs are on YouTube. If you're new here, I also have a community Discord if you want to know when I go live and stuff like that. And I'm also writing a book based on my Skyrim OC and my VTuber lore. They all take place in the same fantasy universe. And there's my other miscellaneous social stuff. So let me see who is live, who we can go raid. Is it done though for realsies? Let me see. I'm checking Twitter. I want to see if are they done? Oh, it's in overtime? Is it done? I guess, okay. Damn. Wait, is it done? I have no fucking idea. I'm trying to look on Twitter if the Super Bowl's actually done. I can't fucking tell. So, that's fine. Alright, we're gonna go raid Julian. He is playing some Persona 3. Julian's a really good friend of mine. And one of my vocal students. He's really good at TFT. So if you like TFT, you will enjoy that. And we're gonna make our raid message. Just say blood for the blood gods. He'll get it. Blood for the blood gods. He'll understand. He'll understand.
They're tied and spent in overtime for 12 minutes.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, football. Very cool. Very cool. All right, that'll be our raid message, just blood for the blood gods. And I will catch you guys on Wednesday. Bye, Mom.